Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire.
Perfect September afternoon to wrap up a series and an ideal way to close out a homestand. The Tigers have gone toe-to-toe with two of the best in baseball lately. Today they try and salvage the final game of this three-game series against the defending world champion and Western Division leading Houston Astros here on Fox Sports Detroit. Hi everyone, alongside my partner, two-time World Series champ Kirk Gibson, I'm Matt Shepard, Trevor Thompson, and Mickey York in a moment. This Detroit team comes into this game here knowing that last night was pretty special in the sense, even though they lost 5-4, the story was Jacoby Jones, a spectacular play in the ninth inning to nab a man at second and a three-run homer. But Ron Gardenhire has to do a better job of spreading the wealth and getting others involved. How does he do that today,
Yeah,
Gibby?
well, Jacoby, you think he's going to be playing. He's awesome. The defensive run save is as good as anybody in the league. But we know this. We've got September call-ups up. Christian Stewart is going to play pretty much every day. His arrivals, we've been awaiting it. He's here, and he's going to play. Victor Reyes has done a pretty good job for being a Rule 5 guy. 9 for 15 in the month of September. So he's going to trickle him in today. Mikey Mott took since coming back in 70 at-bats. 7 home runs. So it's maybe not fair, but the Tigers are definitely, they have meetings starting next week in Cleveland to discuss what this club looks like next year. So they're going to continue to rotate to make some decisions looking into the future.
All right, you don't lose a lot with those two guys in this lineup. It'll be a challenge today against one of the best in the business, Garrett Cole. Why is he better in Houston than he's been the last 2 years in Pittsburgh?
Yes, he's had a resurgent, different philosophy. In Pittsburgh, Ray surge, 3 pitches and out. That was their philosophy. In Houston, strike him out. And he's found new life in his fastball. He's learned where to throw it. This is a tick up faster. It's up 5 inches in his zone, and his spin rate is increased as well. His strikeout rate is increased as well. He's bought into it much the same as Charlie Morton did when he came over from Pittsburgh. So, you know, when you make these changes, sometimes it gives him a real good charge.
He beat the Tigers earlier this year. Today, he throws against Daniel Norris. He's in search of his first victory. He's up for the challenge. Let's hope we'll have the first pitch in the starting lineups after Mickey York in the Call Sam studio.
Valley versus the Astros. The Tigers lefty looking for his first win of the season and first since coming off the DL September 1st. Hi, everybody. Mickey York back with you here in the Coliseum studio. Norris struck out 7 in his last outing. We'll be keeping close tabs on his strikeout numbers here this afternoon and provide you with a complete wrap-up of his performance immediately following the game today on Tigers Live. But almost game time here at Comerica Park between the Tigers and the Astros. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Kroger. Visit Kroger.com for great deals, digital coupons, and more. By Comerica Bank, raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. And by Ram, hurry in and get a great deal during Ram Power Days.
On a Wednesday afternoon in the best sports city in America. Houston Astros with a wrap-up on the season and the series. Their batting order presented by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. They've won the first 2 games. Help me figure this out. Alex Bregman is 0 for 10. Carlos Correa is 0 for 5. Evan Gattis 0 for his last 5. Marwin Gonzalez 0 for his last 7. Sometimes numbers do lie. Tigers starter Daniel Norris, presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
8th appearance in his 5th start of the season. Did not get it factored into the decision. His last outing, 3 runs on 4 hits with a walk and 7 Ks in 5 innings. Looking for health and some velocity. His velocity has been ticking up since coming off of the disabled list.
Starts George Springer off with a strike. Springer 0 for his last 8. Had the night off last night. 1-1 to him.
Is that a fastball, the first pitch, by the way?
Yes.
So we're 3 for 3. We got to keep a log from here to the end of the season. 3 first pitches to a baseball game since last night. 3 fastballs.
Yeah, remember Jose Altuve greeted Jordan Zimmerman. Do you know Jose Altuve predicted that? He told A.J. Hinch before the game, he says, I'm going to hit the very first pitch over the wall, and he did.
Good vision, and it came true.
Altuve not in A.J. Hinch's lineup here this afternoon. To right center, and a nice play made in right by Mikey Matuk.
McLaren Health Plan brings you the Tigers starting defense. A little different out there. Christian Stewart will be out there every day. Victor Reyes in center with Mikey Matuk in right. Good play, Mikey. Candy at third base corner with Aducey at the first base. Goodrum and Lugo up the middle with James McCann catching Daniel Norris.
Victor Reyes plays center field differently than Jacoby Jones. How much of an adjustment will that be for Kristen Stewart, do you think?
Well, they both range well. Reyes has a tendency to spook the defender on his flank. They've been working with him on that, a little better communication. If your battery mate, so to say, calls the ball, you got to get behind him. No, you know what I'm saying by spooking him. You got to get out of his way and go merely for a backup. Something he's had to work on, and they've been doing that.
Alex Bregman, who's been held in check in this series, as we mentioned, 0 for his last 10, but he did reach base last night, was hit by a pitch. It makes it 38 straight games that he's reached base, longest streak of his career. Not this time, though.
Let's take a look at the umpires today. Home plate, Jerry Davis, Pat Hoberg at first, Brian Knight at second, and Roberto Ortiz at third base.
Roberto Ortiz was behind the dish last night. Some controversy involved there, without a doubt.
Well, they just didn't like his zone, but true to his scouting report, he did call the low one of all the pitches.
And for the most part, he was consistent, don't you think?
Yeah, I think earlier he called maybe a little bit better for Houston, but in the end, I think it all evens out. He's busting it back there. It's a tough deal, you know.
Oh yeah, you're not going to please. You're going to take 50% of the fan base off, right? For the most part.
Yep. But sometimes I'm sure it takes time to get into rhythm. Here they were night to day as well.
How about the rhythm Daniel Norris is in early on, working quickly again.
Yeah, he always does. And,
yep.
you know, it takes umpires sometimes, just as a hitter, time to locate and how to see the ball better, and there he goes.
Smooth first for Norris. Cole is the starter for the Houston Astros, presented by MGM Grand Detroit. What do you like about him, Gibby?
Well, he's got a good frame on him, tall, throws hard, got multiple pitches, goes fastball, slider, curveball, and change. He's shown that he can adapt to change-up philosophies as coming over from Pittsburgh. And the numbers don't lie. Second in the league in strikeouts. Strikeouts per 9, opponents average against.
And more wins this year than all of last year already. Tigers batting order presented by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. You like Kristen Stewart's approach so far. He's had some good rips at it. Victor Reyes 9 for 15 in September. Nico Goodrum's 28 doubles are second most among AL rookies. Cole number 2 to Justin Verlander in strikeouts with 251. 6th in inning pitched and 5th in ERA. Caught the corner. 0-1 to Jeimer Candelario. And 2. I've talked frequently on how much I enjoy visiting with Jeimer Candelario. Today, didn't want to interrupt too much, but playing a game of ping pong before the game with Ronnie Rodriguez.
They good?
They were okay. Jeimer looked like he was winning rather handily.
You take him?
No. Fouled it off. So I did ask him, who's the best ping pong player on the team? Now, most guys would say, me. Jeimer did not say that. Who do you think he said?
Little Victor.
No, he said Buck Farmer. Ronnie Rodriguez said Zim. That's all he said. Zim.
Well, those guys are big. They got range and they got aim. Let's take a look at the Astros starting defense now. Similar. Marwin Gonzalez in left field. Jake Marisnick in center. George Springer in right. Alex Bregman at third with Tyler White over at first. Yuli Gurriel at second and Carlos Correa at short. Martin Maldonado, watch him. He's got a good arm behind the plate. Garrett Cole is on the mound.
Maldonado started the opener. It was Brian McCann last night. Stewart punches one to left, and that's down and into the corner. His first extra base hit as a Tiger.
Stop. Took my guy, by the way.
Oh.
Good approach right here. He's going up there looking for the fastball right out of the gate. Why wait? This guy's leading the league almost in every strikeout category. He's up in the top 5. Why would you wait? Why would you give him a free one? You see he's feeling good right there. He knows it's in the corner. On to second. Don't worry about that hat, big boy.
Yeah, let it fly. You always did. First major league double, first major league extra base hit. He was 4th in the International League in extra base hits with 47. And Nick Castellanos is as good as it gets in that regard at the major league level. Struggled a little last night and then some, but those things happen. Can't expect to be 4 for 4 every night.
Nope. Sometimes they just get you. Talent level's pretty good up here.
Still 6 for 16 on the homestand. Good stop by Maldonado.
Now, we talked in the open about the elevation of the fastball. They're tracking Garrett Cole's pitches, and for the most part, his fastball usage up in the zone averages a higher 4 inches or 5 inches higher than he did last year. So that's a philosophy from the Astros. And the Astros also spin the ball. They have the greatest spin rate of any team in the bigs.
Launch to center. Marisnick drifting over. There's 2 down. Trevor Thompson.
Gibby, did you seem to forget that you challenged me to a game of ping pong? I haven't forgotten, but you have not stepped up and delivered on that promise.
Try and get it in, but I was interrupted.
Well, here we are. I'm again issuing the challenge. I accepted yours. When's it going down?
I'll tell you
How about
this.
after the game today?
I think we should all get together at Gibby's Ranch, play a bunch of billiards, darts, and ping pong, and see who comes out a champion.
I'm in.
Wait a minute. That way to invite yourself, Shep.
That's the only way I'm going to get there.
He's just got a feeling it'd be.
Hey, I'm coming too, Gibby.
Oh.
Okay, Trev, tonight after the game.
It's on.
Nico Goodrum swings through a high fastball. Goodrum 1 for 4 last night. 2 for 8 in the series. 0-2 to him.
That's the one, if you can, you got to try and lay off it and hope the umpire doesn't call it. Nico's handled breaking balls well, but he struggled with that one at the top of the zone a bit.
Been a much better hitter from the right side this year.
Got to believe after that previous swing he's going to keep it up there, don't you?
Absolutely. I would.
That's how hitting works. Until you show him that you can lay off it or get on top of it, he's going to keep throwing it when he needs it. Man in scoring position, this is one of those times.
Tigers gave him a scare. Cole struck out 2. Keep it scoreless. The crowd here at Comerica Park for the wrap-up of this series with the Western Division leading Astros. Kristen Stewart helping the Tigers threaten in the first. His first career double. Had 23 at Toledo this year. This guy has really hurt Detroit in this series. Tyler White, then it'll be Carlos Correa and Marwin Gonzalez. Last night hit a homer, 1 for 4, drove in a couple. Fly ball to right, shallow right. Matuk giving chase, and he'll make the grab.
Good break by Mikey. Good communication. That's one of those, you see the infielders really charging out there like that. If you're an infielder, you want to know where your outfielder is. If he's got it, call him and let him get out of the way. He's running in, he calls. These guys are running out. See, get off to the side, no spooking. Don't really know. Right here, look at this.
Good job by Adduci.
Want to peel right off. I mean, this isn't, it's a fairly routine play, but you've seen him get in trouble on those as well. If Mikey doesn't call it early, it turns into a whole different play, and it's not good.
Matuk usually in left field, Gibby. Now Kristen Stewart manning that position. Ron Gardenhire talked to Matuk the other day and said, look, we're going to play the kid, but we're going to get you in. How much of a different position is left to right for him?
Well, Mikey can play either. He's played them both. I know that he cherishes any moment that he can get on, and you know, this isn't the first time Mikey's been here, so he understands how it works and what his role is. I think he'd be appreciative that Gardy sat him down and let him know what was going on, and he'll probably let him know in advance if he may play center someday. You don't know. He may play left. Stewie may get a day off somewhere along the line here.
Carlos Correa with a grounder wide of third.
You know, I got a text last night asking, how does Kristen Stewart look in the outfield? What are your impressions?
Well, it's tough for me to get a read. I'm looking more at him offensively, and I have a preconceived notion that he has a great deal of improvement, but just based on talking with coaches, they know that he has gotten extremely, much better. He's worked extremely hard on his defense.
I would agree, and he's moving good. He has not had any tough plays, and that's a good thing. You know, we talked about the first game he came up about just the whole environment. Now he's here in the day game today. It's a little different. Sun right now is in kind of in from right field, but later in the game it will come around to left field, so he's going to have to deal with that a little bit. It's not the lights tonight, it'll be the sun. It's pretty much a cloudless day.
Full to Carlos Correa. I think a lot of times, Gibby, those are the things that we take for granted. I mean, just even the weather conditions, just to, you know, where the sun is located, playing a day game rather than a night game. Payoff pitch. Down the right field line, Jim Adduci tracking it and making a nice play.
Nice. He gets a good break on this. He's started to play here a little bit. He knows he's playing the ball coming back off the stands. Good anticipation. It makes it look easy, but again, all these plays that might seem trivial, it's important that you make good plays on the average plays or the ones you're supposed to make on. You certainly don't want to make mistakes on it, and then that leads into better play on some of the tougher balls.
Marwin Gonzalez swings and misses at the first offering. Do they play many day games in the minors, Gibby?
I think they mix it up, yeah.
Okay.
Plus,
not a whole lot different than the majors.
Yeah, their early work, they do way more early work, I would say, down in the minor leagues. So they're practicing on sun balls. They're practicing on different conditions. And they're practicing the little intricacies of the game all the time.
Base hit to center for Gonzalez. Tigers host the Royals on Saturday, September 22nd at 6:10. The first 10,000 fans receive a Detroit Tigers Hawaiian shirt courtesy of Visit Central Florida. For tickets, go to tigers.com. Speaking of day games, this is the 66th day game for the Tigers today, more than anybody else in the American League. So 45% of their games with the lights off.
That'll get you ready for Wrigleyville.
Sure will. Evan Gattis, the number 7 hitter. Jose Altuve getting the day off today after going 2 for 5 and a leadoff homer last night.
You watch both managers make lineup changes on the day game today. In Houston, you look at their roster, they plug pretty good reserves in as well. That's what you're always trying to do.
Yeah, they're deep, aren't they?
Yeah, get your nucleus, get your upper echelon players, and have good role players.
1-2.
But he swing hard on that.
Yeah, you're right. Josh Reddick, you could look at as a reserve. Jake Marisnick, who's in center.
At the top, you see Gattis underneath.
Do not lose a whole lot. Remember, last night, a really nice game by Tony Kemp, who started in center field. So
went deep. I thought it was a pretty good pitch by Zim, and I was surprised that Kemp hit it out. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to talk to him today and find out, but you know, the decision to throw it up and in was made. He hit the spot, and he just got clipped.
Well, you mentioned right away, he got his hands in and he got him around quickly.
I haven't looked at a spray chart, but it's not many make that pass on that ball.
Soft fly ball, shallow left, and Stewart makes a nice grab.
He's there all right.
Nico Goodrum remains down.
Oh.
Oh boy.
I think he's going to be all right.
Hope so. That's good to see. See if he can jog it off and help the Tigers to a win today. Daniel Norris, solid and a really nice defensive play by Stewart here in the second. Scary situation there to end the top half of the second. Nico Goodrum was able to limp off the field, but down in the tunnel area now. Mikey Matuk, Jim Adduci, James McCann for the Tigers here in their half of the second.
Well, ironically, we were just talking about a play on the other side of the field earlier in the inning. Where Mikey called off and everybody heard it, and here Stewie is calling it. I got it, I got it, I got it, and Nico may not hear him. Stewie gets down, looks like maybe a Charlie horse, or maybe got a contusion around his knee. You can see him put his hand right there. He walked off. We'll see if he's going to remain in the game. But these plays, though they look routine, there's something to them, especially when you have a young team with many moving pieces.
And as you said, the communication so vital. But Jim Adduci earlier in the inning on the Mikey Matuk nice running catch. Adduci quickly peeled off. Obviously heard Matuk calling for it. Maybe not the case with Goodrum and Stewart. Grounder to short. Correa can't handle it.
We'll take it. Well, I guess the point is take things for granted just like this. It looks like it's going to be an easy play. You see him flip the ball to his hand, doesn't handle it. Now he's had 3 plays like that.
He has.
And he's made one of them. And it was a real good one, but he's misplayed a couple of them. Tigers will take it.
When does something like that get corrected? That's just the 6th error for Correa this year. But still, too good a player to make that type of error.
Well, I mean, you're going to make errors.
Sure.
This field's a little different. Maybe it doesn't feel good. It's night to day. Maybe that's in rhythm yet, but Very good player right there. Very good team that will burn to overcome the mistake.
Tapper to first. White had trouble getting it out of his glove, so they get just one on the force out. If Detroit combines for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring in a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get a free small order of curly fries. You can find a copy of the box score in your newspaper or on the Tigers page at foxsportsdetroit.com.
Garrett Cole's pretty dominant so far. Does have a couple strikeouts. He's got one ball in the air and a couple on the ground. Just it's hard. You know it's going to be hard to score against him. So you might say, well, why don't they hit and run, or why don't you put a guy in motion? It's pretty hard to do as he strikes a lot of guys out.
Yeah, a lot of swings and misses.
But
right.
Might get down to that.
Team's batting just 197 against Cole coming in.
Adducey would be a good guy to do it with, because he usually makes contact. Just hope he doesn't throw the high heater.
Checked his swing, 1-0. The only 2 pitchers who are better in batting average against: Chris Sale leads the league in ERA, and Blake Snell of Tampa, who is tied for the league lead in wins with 18.
How about that?
He's been awesome. Doesn't get a lot of run though for American League Cy Young consideration. It's primarily Sale, Cole, Verlander, Kluber. Caught the corner, 1-1. Cole, a #1 overall pick of Pittsburgh. (18 of his 29 starts have been quality starts. 1-1 pitch. 2-1.
Good take right there. Again, he's trying to work up there at the top. Pitchers like to work off of hitters' aggressiveness. You get behind in the count, you still don't have to necessarily throw a strike if you can induce a chase.
How long does it learn to understand a home plate umpire's strike zone?
Well, nothing's really happened yet so far. Jerry Davis has been pretty much on the numbers.
This one punched foul. That's where your scouting report of Jerry Davis comes in, right?
Yes, it does. But you're confirming what the report says, or it doesn't confirm, and then you're going to take some more time. See the catcher have his cheat sheet right there?
Yeah.
They've got them all over the field. Outfielders have them. First base coach Ramon Santiago's got one over there.
And it's become more prominent in baseball. It's like a wristbanded football. Here's the 2-2 pitch to James McCann. High strike.
Menards brings you the big money encounter. Garrett Cole is pretty good. The numbers don't lie. He's thrown the ball excellent so far this year with the new team. 96.6 average, 3rd fastest amongst starters. Opponents average against, 2nd lowest. 120 strikeouts, most among all pitchers, 3rd most. And look at the revolutions per minute, up from 2017. That's above league average, obviously. But he's finding a resurgence. You know what? The Pirates' way has been very successful too, Shep.
Sure.
They believe in getting it out on the first 3 pitches. So they're looking sinker, slider. They're trying to get a ball hit on the ground, defend it, go to the next hitter.
What makes one philosophy more effective than the other, do you think?
Depends on your team
and the type of thrower. Why would they not adjust to Garrett Cole? You see what he's done in Pittsburgh the last couple of years compared to this season, where he's 13-5 with a better ERA and a better whip.
Well, I think that in the era of baseball right now, that the type of pitcher Garrett Cole is fit on this staff. You had Keuchel, right?
Sure.
He's not a flamethrower, but
no.
He's the guy that's going to get you ground balls.
Right. Charlie Morton, who came over from Pittsburgh
Velo
as
guy.
well. Yeah.
Tall with velo. JV tall with velo. Just seems to be their philosophy. We were here in St. Louis. All their guys are 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". Some organizations believe in that.
Yeah. Well, the Tigers are too. I mean, Casey Mize is a big guy. Funkhauser's a big guy. Faedo's a pretty decent sized guy. Right? They're draft picks.
They have made several changes in their philosophy. I would agree.
Low to Lugo, 3-1. Cole, by the way, strikes out a little bit more than 12 per 9. Only Chris Sale strikes out more per 9 than this guy right here.
And Chris Sale just came back from the disabled list, went through 1 inning, then threw 14 pitches in the bullpen.
Right. Lugo way late.
But Garrett Cole, the way he throws, as a hitter, you know, he just powers. Everything's power. His fastball not only is 96.6 average, it wears on you. And he's got a good slider and he's got a good breaking ball. Occasionally he'll throw an off-speed pitch.
Does he get some late movement too on that fastball?
It jumps.
Yeah.
You know, there's guys that throw 100 miles an hour, and guys are all over him. But this guy here, you got to rush to catch up.
Lugo hanging tough. That one was 99 miles per hour.
So he's averaging just under 97. If he wants to reach back a little bit, he's got a little more in that tank, huh? JB did it the other night as well.
Sure.
We got guys in scoring position. He just took it to a different notch. Not everybody can do that.
Depends on the situation, maybe.
Yeah, well, I mean, JB was totally comfortable. He knew what he had to do. He had conviction in his game plan and executed it.
First and second with 2 down now after the free pass to Lugo.
Pretty good at bat by Noel Lugo. Look at here, working him up, working him up. Just yanks the last one. So how do you beat these guys? You know, you got to play a clean game. You need to match them pitching wise.
Take advantage of your opportunities. Make sure you don't give them extra outs.
Yeah, and he's got 31 pitches already here, not even through 2 innings. He's trying to run that pitch count up, get in the bullpen. But today is a different day. I don't know if Houston's got an off day. But, you know, Friday was the first day, right? Or Monday was the first day. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're trying to get in that pen. You're trying to work their team as much as you can. This is the last day. They probably have an off day tomorrow.
They do,
and then they go off day tomorrow.
Right. Then they're home to Arizona.
So he's got AJ Hinch and Ron Gardenhire have all options available. So you want to try and grind on Garrett Cole the best you can to get him out of the game, and hopefully the next guy's not as good.
Right. Not saving anything for Chance today. Maldonado with an attempt to pick off Jim Adduci. Gibby mentioned his arm.
He gets it down there.
Yeah,
and
he's got a hose. Yeah.
Shuts down the running game for the Astros.
30th game in a Houston uniform. One-two to Victor Reyes, who's 9 for 15 this month. Good stop by Maldonado.
He doesn't play a ton, huh? He's getting more starts than he did early in the year.
Well, Victor Reyes is a different player here in September than he was at the beginning of the season. Much more confident, much more sure of himself. Looks like he's got a better understanding of the game at this level. Hard to learn at this level. It's not a babysitting gig. Golfed foul. Stay tuned to Tigers Live following the game, where we will select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers player of the game. It's presented by McDonald's.
Reyes pretty quick on the fastball. Just about got Ramon Santiago down there.
.25 pitches in the inning for Garrett Cole.
12 in the first.
Another way to get to this team a little bit. Try to get those starters out of there. Now their bullpen's been really good, right? Really good in this series. But if there is an Achilles heel to Houston, it is not the starting staff. It's not Verlander. It's not Cole. It's not Keuchel, it's not Morton. You got to get to the bullpen, and you do that by battling in at-bats like this. This pitching staff #1 in so many categories.
Look at everybody's over this way because they're reading the swings of Victor Reyes.
Barely stayed alive, Maldonado.
Good job of spoiling that.
Yeah. Looked like Maldonado went down. Maybe it clipped him.
Slider. Got him with his bat.
Another 2-2 pitch to third for Bregman. Tigers had some traffic. There is a stop sign named Garrett Cole. Suffering a right quad contusion on this play right here, colliding with Christian Stewart in the second.
His elbow, Stewie's elbow, hits him right there above the right knee. And they went down and checked him out, and they're announcing it as a right quad contusion. I'm going to say that's optimistic, isn't it? I'm hoping.
Yeah, that's hopeful.
I'm sure they x-rayed that. Ronnie Rodriguez, sorry, Shep.
That's all right.
It's Ronnie Rodriguez, the new shortstop for the Tigers.
This one punched to right, in for a base hit to lead off the third for Martin Maldonado.
So they get a hit, and I pick up Ronnie Rodriguez as my pick the stick guy.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Well, I was unaware of that. I thought Nico Goodrum was your pick to stick, and there's nothing you can do about an injury. I didn't realize that was the case. I thought you were just a -1.
Slip him in there.
Oh, okay. Folks, Gibby makes up the Ram pick the stick rules as he goes.
Yeah, we seem to be at each other a little bit today.
States it matter-of-factly. Marisnik fouls it back. Jake Marisnik, another one of those Astros who's mired in a bit of a slump, 0 for his last 14. Did enter in the 7th last night as a defensive replacement. Daniel Norris looking for a ground ball double play. Has not thrown one all year. Now would be an ideal time for that to take place with the number 9 hitter up.
I wouldn't be surprised if AJ Hinch puts somebody in motion along the line this inning.
Instead, it's lifted to center. Good jump by Reyes. One down. Celebrate Irish Heritage Night at Comerica Park on Friday, September 21st. That's when the Tigers host the Royals at 7:10. Purchase a special themed event package that includes a game ticket, Detroit Tigers Irish Heritage Night hat, and a donation to the United Irish Societies. For more information, visit tigers.com. George Springer, the leadoff man, who flew out to right his first time up. Springer second in the American League in leadoff homers with 6. He was an all-star this season. World Series MVP from a year ago. Fouled it back.
Done a good job of keeping his power under control. He's got pop.
He's batting .333 with an OPS over 1,000 against lefties. Second best in the American League against left-handers. One and two.
Springer was a guy, I'm going to look him up, but I think that he kind of trended late. There were times when they thought he swung and missed too much. Didn't think he was going to be what they thought he could be, but he developed quickly.
Yeah, I think you're right. Similar to what JD Martinez went through, right?
Yeah, and that's probably had something. JD probably had something to do with him being patient with Springer.
2 and 2.
But the Tigers are going to be in the same situation. You have players that you either have to put on the roster or you don't. And it's not that you're giving up. You have others that you have to, other spots that you only have so many spots, put it that way.
10th pitch of the inning for Daniel Norris. Squeezed through the right side for a base hit. Maldonado, strong turn, and he will slide into third safely. Runners at the corners for the Astros with one down.
Pretty good hit in here by the Astros, going the other way both times on balls up in the zone. Maldonado's not fleet of foot, but he goes first to third. See Mikey's throw goes a little errant, and they have first and third with one out. You need that double play, the first one of the year for Daniel Norris and the Tigers.
Houston pretty good. You and I were looking at those numbers the other day. Houston pretty good in that regard. First to third. Detroit has improved, but not near what Houston does. Cleveland among the best in that category.
Arizona in the other league is way up there.
Bregman fouls it back. Trevor Thompson has more on the Houston Astros all-star third baseman. Trev?
Yeah, folks, I just took one of the best seats in the house to watch one of the best young players in the game today in Alex Bregman. Guys, this guy leads his team in 11 offensive categories. Hits, home runs, doubles, on-base percentage, on-base plus slugging. The list goes on. But I talked to him earlier in the day about how much fun he and the rest of the guys are having this season. He said it's because of the group of guys they have and because they're winning. If they were winning with a different group, it wouldn't be as fun. If they were losing with the same group, it wouldn't be as fun. It's all come together as the perfect storm. And he's even invented a thing, guys, they're having so much fun, called the Bregman stare. You hit a home run, come back into the dugout, you stare into the camera.
You're used to that.
Just an example of how much fun these guys are having, and this guy's leading the way in that department as well.
Well, you're always staring at that red light, my friend.
Let's install a squirt gun on that camera.
Here's what Trevor's referring to. These are, I think they're awesome. I really do. I mean, it's just, he looks angry for a second, and then a little, how low can you go? Curling is always fun. Bobsledding, make sure you get the turns. And my favorite is this. It's nothing but a thing. Wait, photo op. There it is. Punch to left and a base hit. Astros are on the board, 1-0. Alex Bregman now 51 consecutive games on base on the road. That matches a franchise record set by Jeff Bagwell back in 1999.
Inside again, these guys have really not hit the ball that hard, but just finding the distance over top of the infielders for the Tigers. And Maldonado trots in.
And the three-pointer's good.
How'd you know?
I just figure he's a third baseman, so he's going deep, right, Trev? That makes sense.
You know what? Makes sense. But Sheppy, back to Bregman and just how good the season has gone for him. All-Star Game MVP, Player of the Month in June, Player of the Week the first week in July. And as I mentioned, they're coming off a World Series championship, and this guy leads them in 11 offensive categories on a team that has the likes of an Altuve and a Springer, and the list goes on with the talent that they have. He seems to somehow, despite all of those accolades I just listed, fly under the radar when you talk about all the other guys on this squad and the pitching staff that they have as well.
Yeah.
It's amazing how somebody that good can really fly under the radar and not really get all the pub that a guy with all those kinds of accolades might normally receive, you'd think.
Yeah, only 24. He's got 30 homers. Youngest player to hit that many in franchise history. Big question people have is he a legitimate MVP candidate? And I would argue yes.
Well, there's more talk coming on line, I guess you could say. Mookie Betts, J.D. Martinez on the same team. Jose Ramirez, who we'll see Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And you have Alex Bregman. And you can argue one way or the other for any of them, can't you? I mean, how do you?
Sure.
J.D., they would say he's a DH. His offensive numbers are huge.
But he could win the Triple Crown. Bregman, by the way, 98 RBIs now to tie Jose Ramirez. I was talking with a Major League Baseball MVP voter earlier today. I asked him about Bregman, and he said he's come up with a spreadsheet that entails about 24 different offensive and defensive categories. And he told me, here's what I can tell you. Alex Bregman is climbing my list. Doesn't mean he's going to vote for him, but he's taking a much closer look at him.
Well, if he keeps it going, he will, because he's going to be on national TV a lot.
You're right. Pop up to left. Rodriguez drifting out. Stewart coming in. It'll be Rodriguez taking care of business. That was an infield fly, believe it or not. Hey, Tigers fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with the Fox Sports app. Download the Fox Sports app and take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you. It's made available by Oakland University.
So again, kind of getting back to how the schedule could work in his favor. Houston and Oakland only 3 games apart, so you know they're going to be showing them. Atlanta on top over there in the East with Philly, so that would be a good game. Houston, anybody, wouldn't it? Cubs and Milwaukee. I tell you, that Milwaukee team has been pretty resilient this year.
Yeah, they've been really good.
And I know we'll talk about Boston and New York. Actually, Boston clinched, but
they did. 99th win last night. 10th victory when trailing after 6.
Yankees want to try and catch it, but they're 9 back.
Yeah, they're not going to.
Happen.
No way. Brock Holt had a pinch hit 3-run homer in the 7th last night. Tyler White takes a strike. By the way, Boston tied for the 6th earliest to clinch a postseason berth since 1996. Time now for StatCast, AI powered by AWS. You see how Tyler White does a pretty good job of spreading it out, but for the most part, up the middle and to the left. Primarily a pull hitter. Flew out to right, though, his first time up. 0-2 to him.
So you look at this alignment and see if they change with 2 strikes, but where do you put this guy? Obviously, he has to be able to get to the bag. And yesterday, the Tigers, remember, they couldn't turn a double play because they had 3 guys over here. The ball came here, and there was nobody to cover second base. Talked to Tigers staff on that. I mean, they've had a couple of those this year. Sometimes you got to play for 1 out, you know. You don't get 2 outs.
Gets by McCann. Oh, and it actually hit Tyler White. Went 0-2 pitch, and it hit him.
It might be a good time for a visit here. See, he's trying to make sure he gets that inside with it, hitting right in the toe. I don't know. It's kind of hard to see there.
It's not a terrible place to get hit. Second time that Daniel Norris has hit a batter this year, and the bases are loaded with 2 down. Dangerous hitter in Carlos Correa. Popped the glove at 93. Correa 0 for his last 6 in tight. 2-0. Tough to give in to a hitter like this, but you sure can't afford to go 3-0 to him.
Yeah, Daniel's trying to get the ball inside. He seems to be yanking it. How do you make the adjustment? Got to make a pitch here.
He did, and it's 2-1.
Tigers pretty much straight up all the way around the infield and outfield right now for Correa.
Skied to right center. Matuk is there. That's big. When we come back, Jacoby Jones, that dazzling play he made last night. And how good did that 3-run bomb feel? He'll join the broadcast on Fox Sports Detroit next. One run, Houston won them both, but Jacoby Jones did everything he could last night to help the Tigers, and he joins us here on Fox Sports Detroit. Jacoby, thanks very much. What felt better, the 3-run homer or the chance there in the 9th where you pegged a runner trying to stretch a single into a double?
Definitely the 3-run homer. Anytime you can hit a home run, especially with people on base, the 3-run homer, and in a game we needed to get some runs. I mean, that was huge. So, but anytime you can make a defensive play too, that's fun. So it was all a good time and some good plays.
Gibby had been talking about your good swings, how solid contact had been being made by you, but you just weren't being rewarded. How difficult is that to stay through that when you're not getting rewarded before it finally does pay off?
Yes, that's the name of the game, is just making good hard contact and just squaring balls up. And it's a tough game. It's crazy sometimes. You can do everything right and hit the ball right on the screws, and defender's been there for hundreds of years, so you just got to find a way. They got to find some holes and get a little luck here and there. But no, you just got to keep squaring balls up, and good things will happen eventually.
Jacoby, it's Gibby. I know it seems to me you really like to play center field. You were playing some left field earlier in the year. You seem to be really comfortable out there. Do you have a preference? And You've made some amazing plays. Your defensive run saves is way up there in the league. Who had the most influence on your outfield play?
I mean, I love playing center field here. It's huge. I love to run. I love to use my athleticism. But growing up, honestly, I was a huge Atlanta Braves fan. My whole family watched the Atlanta Braves, so I used to watch Andrew Jones so much. Now, I honestly didn't play center field when I was a kid. I played shortstop, but just watching Andrew Jones out there, I consider him to be one of the greatest center fielders of all time, and that's who I watched. And when I started playing center field a few years ago, I started watching highlights of Andrew Jones just because I liked him so much. So, I mean, I watched a lot of film on him and some other guys, but mainly Andrew Jones had a lot of influence on me playing center field and how I play the game in center field.
Yeah, so you're pretty much an outfielder now. You did play some midfield. You look down your bench there, and we noticed that Goodrum's out of the game. Do you see any more infielders?
No, I don't actually. So
yeah, you're ready to go, right?
I'm ready. Gardy came over and talked to me. He said, "Hey, we might need you late in the game to play third base or short or second." I said, "Hey, I'm ready. I haven't played there in years, but I can do it."
What's your mentality when you have a quote off day? Do you kind of does your routine change a lot, or are you still get keyed up? How do you remain ready to play?
I still get my work done in the cage. I mean, like today at day games, we do a lot of cage work. And, if you want to get a workout in, do that. But no, I got an off day. I've seen the lineup earlier this morning. You just kind of got to still get prepared because you might come in late in the game and get a pinch hit, or got still a base or something, come in and play defense. So you still got to get your mind right. But it's a little different. But I mean, if you have a routine, you got to strictly do it all the time. So yeah.
You're watching another young guy right now take his at bat, and Kristen Stewart doubled his first time up. What have you noticed from him in his early arrival?
He's got some pop. He's got quick hands. He's a big, strong dude. He's going to be a good player. He's just got outrageous power. So we've seen it in BP yesterday for the first time. We've seen it in spring training. I mean, he's obviously got a good bat, and he's getting better in the outfield. I mean, I played out there the last couple games with him. He looked pretty solid when I had my rehab stint in Toledo. He had some good games, good at bats, and he played some great defense. So he's going to be a good player for us.
AJ Hinch had to, at least challenge and have them take a look last night at that fantastic throw into second base in the 9th inning. Was there ever a doubt that you nabbed him there?
No, I knew I had him. Once I saw his arm kind of come up and he tried to avoid the tag, and I actually had a decent view, but I couldn't tell because I wasn't so close. But I had a decent view of Nico stretching out and tagging his chest. I couldn't really see his hand, but I kind of knew it was like a 99% I knew that it was out. So.
That swim move's a pretty good move. People trying to get
down.
But Shep, what about the fantasy football? You got some inside intel on Jacoby?
Well, I know Mikey Matuk was trying to swing a trade with him yesterday, and Jacoby said no. But I guess I know Mikey's got a pretty wide receiver heavy roster. What's your roster look like for your fantasy football team?
I got a squad. I got a good team. I think I put up the most points in the week 1, so that was a good thing for me. But I have Kamara, which is the best player in the league in my opinion, with the Saints. I have Tyreek Hill, which is a solid wide receiver. I have Zach Ertz, a really good tight end.
Yeah,
I have
really
AJ Green.
Yeah.
I have Marvin Jones. I have Robert Woods. I have some players that put up some big time numbers. So.
You had Marvin Jones. He had a couple of drops the other night.
Yeah, they had a rough night the other night, but they'll bounce back. I mean, Matthew Stafford,
Yeah.
he likes throwing to Marvin Jones, so I still like him.
Yeah, 61 rocks last year. Who's your quarterback?
I had Mariota, but he got hurt. But I picked up Tyrod Taylor this week against the Saints because the Saints' defense is kind of not looking good right now.
Cleveland put up 21 against the Steelers.
Right.
Do you like it, Shep? Like his team?
I do like his receivers. I really like Tyreek Hill.
You don't like Kamara?
Yeah, I do like Kamara. I wouldn't say he's the best player in the league, but I do like him an awful lot.
I mean, I was just being optimistic about Kamara because I like him a lot.
Okay.
How about LSU now? You got a little bit of time down there, right?
Yeah. You talking about the football team right now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're 2-0. They're going to Auburn this week though. That's going to be a challenge for them. Third week of the season, going to Auburn. We didn't look that hot against Southeastern, I think, last week. So it's going to be a tough game. Those SEC games are always fun, so it's going to be fun to watch.
How about a phone call to Casey Mize? A little personal bet there between you and the Tigers' former first overall pick. He's an Auburn guy.
Yeah, that's right. That is true. I might have to rig something up with a little bet going on in there.
All right, quickly take me through the home run last night. What did you get? Were you just dialed in, sitting on it, or what?
Well, he was throwing those 2 seams down the way a lot and getting people to hit ground balls, and that was the name of his game. You just got to see him up a little bit. And he was telling the first couple pitches were out of the zone, like way balls, so I seen him out of the hand pretty good. And then obviously 3-0 I took just to see if he throw a strike, and he did. And the next pitch, I was just looking for a heater up, middle in, and he threw it there, and it didn't really run that much, and it ran right into my barrel. So,
Can you feel something that sweet, or is it just barely even something you can feel?
Oh, it feels so good when you hit a ball like that. It's so pure, and it just feels effortless, and it just feels so good when you hit a ball like that. And I mean, that's the name of the game. You hit balls like that, it just makes you happy in your mind. Sometimes they're out, and when they go out, it's a great feeling.
Doesn't sting at all. Those are, now you work out the tee every day for that. Where would you say your best zone is that you make the best contact, have the best results?
I'd probably say just middle of the plate, honestly. I mean, for me, middle in. Maybe I have my A swing's probably like left center gap, center field, and sometimes I'm a little pull happy every now and then when they throw it in there. I got fast hands and turn it on a little bit, but I'd say probably middle in. So.
All right, here's Mikey Matuk, your friend, and the guy who told me he's got better cues than you. He's got Kirk Cousins and Matthew Stafford on his fantasy football team.
Well, that's fine because we played week 1 and I beat him by 25 points.
So they weren't that good.
So.
He's got Emmanuel Sanders. He also has he's got Hopkins, right?
Yeah, he has DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
And he had the 7th pick and I had the 6th pick in the draft. And I picked Kamara and he picked DeAndre Hopkins. So I was thinking about picking Hopkins, but I couldn't pass up Kamara.
Shep, you're really starting to stir some stuff up here.
Well, you know who the commissioner is, Gibby. John Hicks is the
John Hicks is our commissioner.
Football commissioner, right?
Oh my!
What's Garrett Cole look like from your vantage point?
From over here, it looks like he's throwing fuel, but
he is.
Yeah, so he's a good pitcher. I mean, we faced him in Houston.
Yep.
We hit some balls pretty hard, but no, I mean he's a great pitcher for them. He's been having a solid year, so hopefully right here he makes a mistake and Mikey can. Yes.
And he does.
Come on, Kenny.
Call it. Go ahead, call it.
Score. Nice. Yes.
Call.
Hey, Cole, listen to me. He gave it up.
He did.
He made a mistake.
And Mikey Matuk delivered. Hey, man, thanks a lot. Great stuff. We appreciate it. Fans love the way you play the game of baseball. We appreciate the time today. Stay healthy. We'll see you in Cleveland, all right?
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Good stuff there, Mikey. Gets the ball down in the zone. It's easier than that one that's up. Look at Clark. He's saying you got to get it rolling. Look like Kobe's playing cheerleader today. Like he said, he may come in for the game winner later, Chef.
It's a great question. How do you prepare on an off day? Because I know what you were hoping for. Like you would be playing, right? As a manager, a former manager, and you as a player, that's how you prepare. It was no, okay, I can sit back and relax. I got to be ready when I'm called upon, if I'm called upon.
You can relax, but you have to be ready. But you have to learn how to do that. You can't just have the mentality, I'm not going to enter this game, because as the game evolves, the situation changes. You may play here, you may play there, you may be a pinch runner, you may go in. You know, he may go in for defense later, right? I mean, he's the best defender they had.
That's what he just told you. He may come in for, somebody in the infield because of the injury to Goodrum.
So you can't check out. You have to monitor the situation and always understand where your contribution may help win a game.
Heavy pitch count. The last 2 frames by Garrett Cole. 1 and 2 to Jim Adducci. Good call by Jacoby Jones, too. Get down there. Score, score. And we're squared up at 1. That's all the Tigers get, but it's enough to tie it up. Mikey Matuk wears a crown there in the 3rd. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire.
first spot in the postseason has been officially clinched with their 7-2 victory against the Blue Jays last night. The Boston Red Sox are postseason bound. The magic number to clinch the AL East is now 9, and you can bet they've got one eye on the defending champion Astros as we head down the stretch. Yep, Gibby?
Third straight year that the Red Sox have reached the postseason.
What's the magic number?
9.
9.
Here we go on the 9s again.
Oh, no.
Mickey, you had to do that, didn't you?
How many games in a season?
I opened it up.
How many games in a season?
162.
1 plus 6 plus 2 is
9.
This is amazing.
Uh-oh. Marwin Gonzalez.
For those of you who missed out on that, everything evolves back to a 9.
In baseball.
Every number.
Daniel Norris is 44. But he is the number 1 on the diamond, right? He's the pitcher. That's the number 1 position. So 4 plus 4 is plus 1 is 9.
44. 4 plus 4 is 8. 44 minus 8 is 36. 3 plus 6 is 9.
I thought mine was a little simpler.
Well, it works.
There's the 0-2 pitch to Marwin Gonzalez. He singled back in the second. High pop-up on the right side of the infield. Adducey called off. And Lugo makes the play. Craig Monroe's right near the Tigers dugout. The vibe changes when you tie the game and you start having better swings against a good guy like Garrett Cole, doesn't it, Simo?
Oh, absolutely.
How so?
Well, it just gives some confidence to the guys in the dugout watching, especially when you know that he's a tough competitor. He's got a 97 mile per hour fastball. You absolutely know that he's going to be a tall challenge. But when you see other guys ahead of you start to make some good contact, seeing the ball a little better, it does bleed into the dugout, and guys have better at bats.
What would your approach be against Garrett Cole?
I like to sit fastball. I'm more of a middle in guy. But against Garrett Cole, I would go out of third. And the reason I would do that, Shep, is because it will keep me square long enough to, if he does hang one of those breaking balls, I would be in a good hitting position to be able to hopefully do some damage.
You've told me that you've got to have a plan when you get into the box.
Oh, there's no question.
You can tell Houston hitters have a plan, even though Evan Gattis right now is 1-2. How can we tell when the Tigers have a plan?
Well, when you see them taking, especially pitches on the outside, or maybe they're sitting on fastballs against a particular pitcher, you'll notice that guys are taking that slider down and away. They're taking the breaking balls. I'd like to see them continue that, though, Shep, moving forward. I think that's how these young hitters are going to improve, and improve a lot quicker by having a solid approach and trusting that approach when you go into the batter's box.
I would say against Cole, I would try and see the ball down more because he's explosive up top. He's got good stuff. You could maybe wait, take a strike to see if you could get ahead of the count, or you could go early. I know, Simo, you like to hunt that fastball early in the count as well, because if you're thinking fastball and you miss the first one, it's 0-1. There's no big deal, is it?
No, not at all. Gib, this is just how I like to approach every at bat. I believe that you can slow down, you can't speed up. So I really always look for the fastball, but I didn't look to pull the fastball. I was thinking right center as a right-hander because I felt like that kept my front shoulder closed long enough. So if they did throw something off speed, I'd be a little bit more out front, but I'd still be able to drive that ball to left center.
Who does that well for the Tigers right now?
Well, for me, I watch Nicholas Castellanos. I know he's a guy that drives, stays inside the baseball well, hits the fastball the opposite way. If you notice that, a lot of the home runs and doubles are right center. But look at his numbers against breaking balls, all-speed pitches. He stays square, and he's hitting those balls out to left center.
Just looking at Daniel Norris and his pitch selection, he's really liking his fastball today, it looks like to me.
I like that he's pitching inside.
Yeah, it's got some pop.
Really pounding it inside.
Because I'd always noticed that, when I was in the batter's box, when a left-hander had the ability to command that inner half of the plate, it just seemed like it would that outside fastball and changeup, because they have that natural tailing away from the righty, that it just seemed like that front side just before I'm supposed to be making contact would pull off a little bit. And so I like that he's establishing good fastball command on the inner half.
How important is it down the stretch for him for next season, too?
Well, I think personally, this is something that he wanted. This is something that he's worked hard to get back on the mound for the Tigers. And he's a competitor, and he loves to compete. And the fact that he's pitching well, commanding both sides of the plate, Shep, and his all-speed pitches, I believe, have gotten better. He's got more tilt, more bite on him. So I think it is important for him moving forward.
Yeah, some of his sliders really bite and go down, and then it plays right off the fastball as you're throwing that fastball in. It looks like his fastball's cutting a little bit more than it used to, and then he plays that slider. You're looking at sequences all the time. You know, Verlander throws the high heater, then he throws the curveball out of it. Your hitter, you swing at a fastball up. Verlander reads that. He knows you're saying stay off that ball. He throws the curveball up there. You give up on it. It comes down. So many things that you can do if you can locate.
Also, if you have the same arm action, arm speed, because it does, as Gibby, I mean, explained beautifully, Gibby, it comes out of that same window. And you have a tunnel from the pitcher's hand to the plate, and that's the strike zone in which you want to attack the baseball. And when those pitches start in that zone, you're more susceptible to swing at the pitches that start out as strike, Shep, but then when they get in the hitting zone, especially with his slider, it's biting down, and you swing over the top of that particular pitch.
To left center. Long run for Reyes. Made the grab!
What a catch.
Put that one on a highlight reel. One game, one of the finer catches you will see all season long. Watch this.
Almost 100 feet. 41% chance of catching this ball, so he erased the odds.
Guys, that's an incredible play there. If you notice there, Victor Reyes was on the opposite side. He was playing the opposite way, so it means he was on the right field side of second base. He got an outstanding jump. He took the perfect route to that baseball to be able to give himself a chance to dive and make a play. But I just had a real nice conversation by the dugout here where I'm at in the camera well with Dave Clark, and I said, hey, that's a great play there by the young kid. He goes, listen, this young man's been working his tail off. before the games in the outfield, working on his route running, trying to make sure that he takes the direct path to the baseball. And that was a great example of how hard work truly pays off.
Helps to be 6'5". What do you mean by route running?
Well, you have to know, Shep, like when the ball's hit off the bat, there's an angle that you have to take to cut the baseball off to be able to get behind it and beat it to a spot.
To right field and deep, and it is gone.
Wow. Oppo.
Number 8 for James McCann.
And Gibby, you know this as well, but when you hit the ball out the opposite way,
It's right.
everything about your swing was right. The rhythm, the timing, the power position, the backside gets through the baseball. That was pitcher perfect. And it's good to see James McCann have that kind of swing on that particular pitch, a good fastball away.
Yeah, he struck out his first at bat, pulled off the ball, and told himself, I'm going to stay on this, let it travel, saw it. And he said, execute it perfectly. When it goes out the opposite way, it's a beautiful thing.
Second opposite field homer of the year for James McCann. And the Tigers have their first lead. That had to feel good.
Oh, no question, Shep. He's been working on that, too. He's been working on trying to stay on the baseball a little bit longer and riding that backside where he can see the baseball deeper and start to trust staying square and being able to not only not push the baseball the opposite way, but being able to hit it over there with some authority. And that was a great example of it.
And if you're going to do that, you got to start seeing results, right?
Oh, you do. Well, but you also have to trust the work that you put in behind the scenes, Shep. When you get in the game, you're really just taking the test. But that just didn't happen in the game. I mean, it happened in the game because he got the result.
Yeah.
But that started in the batting cage, off the tee. That's when the hard work is put in.
Here's the other beautiful thing. His fastball, it's hard to pull. You're trying to pull that ball, you're not giving yourself a chance to see 97 miles an hour, 96 mile an hour exit velocity, 32-degree launch angle, 337 feet. That's nice. About time you get rewarded. Sometimes you do everything right and don't get rewarded, and then you do something like this and it makes it all worth it.
And that's why this game is frustrating, guys, because you can put in all the work you want, and then sometimes it just doesn't translate into the game. That's why this game is mentally tough.
Especially for guys like him who have to handle it defensively more so than anybody else, involved in every single pitch.
He doesn't have time to take any pitches off. He's the catcher. Nobody cares about what he just did. They care about how he's going to operate that pitcher and what he's going to throw the next inning.
Reyes grounded to third his first time up.
Gibby, how about this young man, Victor Reyes, in the batter's box now? He's grown tremendously throughout this season.
Had a great year.
He really has. Hasn't played above Double-A. I continue to watch him in the batter's box have a solid approach, a really good idea of what he's trying to do up there as well.
4 for 8 on the homestand, make it 4 for 9 now with 2 down.
The third baseman,
Yeah, I wanted to make one point. You're talking about route running, and you're talking about Reyes when he ran that route. There's another thing which he factored in. Go ahead, you call it right here. Stop it right there. This flag is blowing this way. He's got to make his route based upon all the conditions.
So into the wind is what you're
Well,
saying.
the wind was blowing. I looked at the flag. It was blowing kind of over. It's swirling around, but it's been blowing this way. And he just did an excellent job. Like Simo's saying, he didn't do like a little curve route. He goes right for it. Yeah, go ahead. So that wind's blowing this way. So he's got to decide, is he going to go here? Is he going to go there? He went right where he needed to go.
And also, just to add to Gibby's point, when you're playing center field, you get the best view as the ball comes right over here towards me.
That's a long run.
I know, that's that shift.
Yeah, Bregman and Maldonado. Maldonado gave chase, but he's got that extra gear on.
Well, guys, back to the point that I want to make, though. If you're a student of the game from a defensive side, and you pay close attention to bat angles, you can start heading toward the baseball before the ball actually hits the bat. And that's one of the things I learned from Jim Edmonds the year that I was going to play center field here, Gibby, was that I watched the bat angle, and you can tell when the bat heads out front or when they're late, and then you can just start your movement.
Second time Jamer Candelario strikes out. Simo, great stuff as always. We appreciate the time.
Thank you, guys.
We'll enjoy your work on Tigers Live postgame. Tigers in front now, 2-1. To catch every moment this season, get features such as MLB.TV Game of the Day, stats, news, and a whole lot more. Download MLB at Bat today. Alongside Kirk Gibson, Trevor Thompson, Mickey York, Craig Monroe, and our entire Fox Sports Detroit crew, I'm Matt Shepard. Tigers trying to salvage one of this three-game series. We begin the fifth. Jake Marisnick, the number 9 hitter, and then back to the top of the Houston lineup. See the 12 outs recorded. This will be a blooper to left and drop in for a base hit, the 5th hit of the day for the Astros.
Well, that's nothing really you can do about that. He made a good pitch on him. Right off the end of the bat. Big swing as an outfielder. You're going to break back on that ball pretty much, and then you got to come in.
Snaps an 0 for 15 skid for Marisnick and brings up George Springer. Good stop by McCann to smother it, make it 1-0.
Well, you get the lead, you want to try and keep it, obviously. You don't want a little Texas Leaguer blooper to start off the inning, but you did. You got it, and now you got to deal with it. Get that first double play of the year.
Just off the edge, 2-0.
Here's our Xfinity high-speed pitch, 93. Daniel Norris, low of 74. He wants that. It's important for him to get his velo back. I know he's one of those guys that looks at the clock out there at the pitch speed.
Scalded to left in for a base hit. And the Astros with the first 2 runners on here in the 5th.
Yeah, you know they're going to come at you right till the end. This is not a bad pitch. Ground ball. Just finds a hole. Tigers were not shifted, so they couldn't make the play.
Infield discussion at the mound. What's this about, do you think? Just how they're going to pitch Bregman, who has the lone RBI for Houston today?
It was talk about the shift. Let's see if they're going to shift. Bunt plays. They could talk about bunt. He's not bunting, though. For sure.
Bregman's single back in the third was his 161st of the year. It's 7th most in the American League.
Also, what are you going to throw to him? Let me in on it. Kind of get a game plan together, and you maybe defend on that a bit. What signs are you going to use? You got a guy at second base. What changes the signs? What are you guys using? You're going to throw him in. You're going to throw him away. Hard or soft?
You mentioned Norris looks at the speed of the pitches. Would you discourage that as a manager, or does it matter?
It can be a problem because if you're focusing on overthrowing, usually the ball comes out of your hand when you just throw everything free and easy.
I'd love a ground ball here. Instead, it's 3-0. Arguably the most dangerous hitter in the Houston lineup, Alex Bregman.
Well, again, these two clubs are a little different. Astros are looking towards the playoffs. Tigers are rebuilding, so they're going to leave Daniel Norris out there. They want to see him if he can get out of there.
Bullpen is starting to stir a little bit for the Tigers.
You just got somebody up, huh?
Yeah, but they would like to see him, you know, get through maybe the 6th. That would be ideal.
Like to see him get out of this inning.
Sandy Baez warming up quickly. To third and down in the corner. 1 run's going to score. Bregman will dig for second. Springer will try and score and will, and just like that, the Astros are back in front by a run. Bregman with his 3rd RBI of the day.
Well, Bregman's ahead in the count. He loves fastballs. It's right there in his wheelhouse. Just out of the reach of Candy. The ball got by him quickly. They're running the pillows like they should. 2-run score. Tigers trail 3-2. Here comes a visit to the mound.
Bregman now with 100 RBIs. 3rd in the AL. 50 doubles. That's 1st in the league. And you see the extra base hits. Most by an Astros player in 17 years.
He's having a year, isn't he?
Well, what was the biggest issue there? He falls behind 3-0, right, to Bregman.
Yep. Bregman takes 3-0. It's a strike. He's probably looking area on 3-1. Got a fastball right in his hot zone. He likes the ball up a little more. Got a ball up in the zone, middle third in. He just puts a good swing on it. Here's the sequence right here. In. Loses that one there. And here's the 3-0. This one's right over the plate.
Bregman's one of those guys for a 7 o'clock game. He has his spikes on at 1:30.
Yeah, well, I mean, he had no choice. The bases are loaded.
And they had
there was 2 on.
Yeah, 2 on. Right. They actually have to reel him in sometimes.
What do you mean reel in?
He's just he's baseball all the time. And at 1:30 for a 7 o'clock game, let's hunker down a little bit. Look out. That's belted deep left. Stewart near the wall and makes the grab. Took a homer away from Gurriel.
Good job, Stewie. Got back nicely. He gets it in quickly. Bregman, however, did advance to third. Got back nice. Got his hand out there. That's the first endeavor he's had in game here at Comerica. See the reaction.
Relief.
See Daniel
And
North standing there
disbelief.
watching that.
Yeah.
Should have been over backing up a little earlier. Boy, Stewie.
First double of his career and first home run robbing catch of his career. Tiger fans hoping there will be many more to follow in both.
I just think about the Marisnik hit. Kind of a little Texas leaguer.
Yep.
It's one of the things about Comerica. It's a big yard and you got to play deeper. And it gets in. Drops in over their heads.
McCann can't hold on. You mentioned this the other day. All that fodder right there on the batter's circle forces you to look down. And maybe you lost sight of it. I don't know.
Listen to the sound here. I'm going to point something out. You hear the difference of sound? He's on the grass. He goes across the rubberized device that's holding the stuff to get your bat ready, and then you go to listen. He had it, but he's just got there just at the same time. Then you're going across that gravel. You could hear his spikes crispy on it.
White to left center. Reyes with Bregman tagging. And another run home for Houston. That play by Bregman was really made when Stewart made the grab off Gurriel's long fly ball, because Bregman wisely tagged up. And that's just good, solid, fundamental baseball.
Well, he followed the baseball rules. Nobody out, you tag. One out, you make sure that you can make it to home if it falls. And we talked about the little things last week. This is on the Stewart catch. Look at, he sees it. Is he going to catch it? He goes back really quick. Immediately on the third. And now we've got a Tyler White fly ball, and he scores on a sac fly.
It's just heads up. It's good baseball, man.
Just doing the right thing at the right time. They always say, take what they give you.
They also say, think the game. And I think he's a baseball thinker.
I agree. It's taken him some time, but the organization recognized his potential and have laid a nice path for him to get to where he is today.
3-0 to Carlos Correa. 0 for 2 so far today. Again, some injuries have thwarted what we usually see from Carlos Correa. Houston's hoping that he can find that groove again by the time the postseason begins.
Well, when you get to the postseason, you drop your average from the season, and it's amazing how much of a mental lift that is. I contend that if you didn't look at the scoreboard, you'd be a better hitter.
Well, it depends on the hitter. I mean, some guys, their batting average bumped up. Scott Brocious, Aaron Boone, for example.
Okay, but I'm saying during season, because you're at 330 all year, and now you're at 320. And I promise you, many people in the game have thought, oh, I'm going to go below 300. And guess what happens? You go right below 300. You watch yourself, you talk yourself right down. I know a couple players that don't look at it, and it's worked out well for them. Goldie's one of them.
Paul Goldschmidt?
Yep.
He's had another really good year. He's an underrated player, don't you think?
Well, I mean, he was off to a terrible start.
Yeah, but he also made the All-Star team. He did catch fire after May.
No question about it, but I'm saying he does not look at the average. Doesn't read his clippings. He subscribes to one of the theories that I just represented.
Did he learn that from you?
No. Did not learn that from me, but he shared it with me.
And you'd like him to share that with others on his team?
Well, I mean, people have said that for years, but just doesn't happen. People, you look at the stat pack on the table, right? We get them.
Drilled into the left corner. Stewart gives chase. Correa's got good speed. He's going to be waved home by Gary Pettis. The throw home is not in time.
He's motoring. That's going to be it.
Ron Gardenhire has seen enough. Crooked number on the board in the 5th. He's got to go to his pen. Service, everybody needs a Bell Tire guy. By Chevrolet, the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall. And by Meridian Care, Medicare Advantage plans. Had a fun conversation with Jacoby Jones earlier today. Daniel Norris didn't have as much fun as he did early in the game. Roughed up for 4 runs here in the 5th. He leaves and responsible for the man on second with 2 down. The Tigers trailing by 3. Our wall side windows pitching change. Sandy Baez in for Detroit.
Sandy, a hard thrower, fastball slider. He does have a split finger as well. Youngster, opponent so far hitting only 083 off him. Only 7 in the 3rd innings. Watch this kid come up through the minor leagues all the way from West Michigan on up. He's got potential. He's going to have to try and keep that consistency. Because you get in the lower levels, sometimes you can overpower guys. Up here, it's obviously you're going to run into some guys that's harder to just overpower.
6'2", 219. What's his future role on this team?
He's a bullpen guy for sure. I mean, they'd like him to probably be a back end guy.
To right center, Matuk has it. The Tigers are finally out of it. But a 4 spot for the Astros. Mobile. Trevor Story has been an underrated story, no pun intended. What's he done? He's the first shortstop in Major League history with 40 doubles, 30 homers, and 25 stolen bags. Not Cal Ripken, not Alex Rodriguez, not Ernie Banks, Trevor Story. He is on pace to finish with 181 hits, 87 extra base hits, 36 bombs, 113 ribbies, and 28 stolen bases. Wow. Impressive.
It is impressive. You know, I always bring up the fact that he's playing in Colorado. I think you referenced the fact the steals are, that's pretty tough, but I mean, he does have way better numbers in Colorado. If Alex Rodriguez or Cal Ripken played in Colorado, would they have accomplished it?
I'm not sure Cal Ripken would have from a stolen base standpoint,
Right.
but Alex Rodriguez, I would have guessed yes. As a matter of fact, that's the guy I thought, that's the biggest surprise. I would have thought he's the one guy who would have been able to accomplish those types of numbers before Trevor Story.
How about Lindor?
Lindor has a chance, absolutely.
But
just so you know, and to your point, Gibby, in fairness to Trevor Story, he's batting .303 at home. He's batting .283 on the road.
Correct. He's got 22 home runs at home, 10 on the road. I mean, it's significantly different, and I probably shouldn't even have brought it up because I don't want to taint the accomplishment. Heck of a ball player really has come on, and this Colorado Rockies team impressively is hanging into that they're leading the division.
Yeah, but I do think it's a fair point. I mean, just you're not taking anything away from it. His home runs, as you said, more than 2-to-1 at home. His RBIs almost 2-to-1 at home. So I think it's a fair point.
His batted balls in play are better on the road. I mean, you can look at all these different numbers. The power numbers, though, and even some of the doubles that he gave up, because you have to play so deep in Colorado that it does allow you to get an advantage. And obviously the altitude, it's a lighter air, the ball's going to carry farther. There's no question about it. But he's having a heck of a year, and it doesn't matter because they play in Coors Field. He shouldn't be penalized for the accomplishment. And I think you're thinking bigger award than just the recognition. How good do you think he is?
I wouldn't say he's the best shortstop in the league. I think he's, or in baseball, I think he's really good. I like watching him play. There's a lot of shortstop I enjoy watching play, though. I think Nolan Arenado is one of your favorite players. I think he's absolutely dynamite, and I give Colorado a ton of credit for what they've been able to do so far. Like Charlie Blackmon, a couple years ago, fantastic season, but really didn't get as much recognition as I thought he should. Carlos Gonzalez has always been a pretty darn good player. He's been about .280 this year. Local kid DJ LeMahieu is having a nice season. I mean, they've got what it takes to win that division, no question.
Game and a half up on Los Angeles.
So many good shortstops in the league today.
Let me ask you a question. You're a player. You're Trevor Story. You say he's off the radar a little bit, right?
I think so.
Would you want to be on the radar, or would you prefer to just stay off it and be able to play in the race?
You know, it really wouldn't matter to me as long as my team was doing well.
Exactly.
But I think, you know, most people want some recognition for what they do. Besides, your contract, there may be maybe a little bump there.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, but if you win the World Series, what more do you need?
You don't. You're right. That gives you all the recognition. Look, I like Trey Turner in Washington too, but I think he brings a different dynamic, but I wouldn't say he's in the mix for among the best shortstops. Not when you've got Simmons and Bogart, Machado and Lindor, and a guy like Correa, even though he's having a bit of a down year. I think Brandon Crawford's a bit of a underrated shortstop with San Francisco too. Good stop by Maldonado. Castellanos has flied out to center a couple of times. Kristen Stewart's been on base twice.
Tigers came back in the third after Astros got on the board, tied at 1-1, then took the lead 2-1 in the bottom of the fourth. The Astros have scored 4 now. Time for the Tigers to answer, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that one inning that has Hurt Detroit the last couple of nights.
Had one last night.
Curveball, sliced foul.
Tell you, Nick, even though he's facing the top echelon pitchers, he still has that great approach.
He does.
But he's got the great path to the ball. So when you're that quick, you have the confidence, you're not cheating, you're just you.
I've enjoyed watching him play so much this year. What I feel bad about is that because this team is 59 and 86, that not enough people league-wide have noticed it.
But
I hope Detroiters have noticed it.
He wants to be a leader. He wants to be a winner. And I could argue, I've been on teams that have lost. I've been in organizations that have lost for a long time. Organizations that have won. It is a real fun thing to be where you're at today and get to the top. You know what I'm saying? So the journey, embrace it.
Yeah.
A lot of guys say, oh, I want to get out of here, you know, and then they get traded.
Yeah, he's not like that. He has said he wants to be here.
Doesn't want to go anywhere.
Right.
Well, he got him here. Got him to chase a high one. Still doesn't change any way he feels. I tell you, he's got a calm demeanor. And that was opposite of me. I would probably be over there trying to break my helmet right now. But, you know, he's got a very calm demeanor and a good way of internalizing that at bat, being ready for the next one. And Maldonado must be staying up behind these hitters. That's the second time he's been hit today.
Yeah, so they'll take a look at him breaking the rhythm of Garrett Cole.
Got hit with the bat again.
That's
the second time.
Yeah, it is. Oh, right on the left elbow.
Oh. No.
What is it? Those long back swings,
Yeah.
or is it the catcher's moving in too close?
Now, that looks like a long backswing from Ronnie Rodriguez. That looked like it got bone. Catchers are tough. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it. Could have chipped something off there. Think of all the different ways that these catchers get beat up. They take foul tips, and they got to just act like it doesn't hurt. But this one here is really got him just right.
Oh, they play through a lot more than we ever realize, I think.
Well, if you take a foul tip right to your arm, that's going to hurt. There's an array of things. He hasn't moved that elbow yet, has he?
Not that I've noticed.
Well, there he goes.
You made an interesting point last night during the broadcast. If this is football, he's out of play, at least. Doesn't happen in baseball.
Yeah, they take him out. You got to come out of the game if you go down. We talked about there. Basketball is the same. Hockey you'd have to come off as well. But I don't know how you change it. Yeah, I don't know. Usually they give you plenty of time here in baseball. I don't know that I've ever seen where they've said, okay, you in or out. See if you're going to let him catch a few. Might get a little deeper in that box now, huh?
Right. That's what I'm thinking. Batter digs in. Do they apologize here?
I
Is
think
that the etiquette?
Ronnie already went over to him right after he got hit. But see if he flinches when he goes to swing. I would be.
All right, feels like he's ready to go. A couple warm-ups from Garrett Cole. Well, you won't want to miss the 2018 Michigan Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony Friday, September 28th at the Soundboard at Motor City Casino. Join us as we celebrate B.J. Armstrong, T.J. Duckett, and many others. Tickets start at just $25. For tickets and information, visit the website on your screen there. 0-2 to Ronnie Rodriguez. A replacement for Nico Goodrum, who was injured in the second on a defensive play, running into Kristen Stewart. A right quad contusion was the official word on Goodrum's injury. Cole makes quick work of Rodriguez. Back-to-back Ks registered by Garrett Cole.
Now, you don't take this ball, it's hard, but watch how late he is. I mean, it just gets by him. I mean, it's totally by him before he swung. We were talking in the open about how he has extra miles per hour. That's went up on the radar gun. 9 strikeouts so far for Garrett Cole. And his spin rate is also improved this year.
Remember, Justin Verlander notched 10 strikeouts last night. Cole and Verlander have been back and forth in their last 10 starts on who takes the lead in strikeouts in the American League.
So he just overtook him?
So 251 with 9. He now has
260.
260.
Well, Garrett Cole's strikeout rate, look how far that's went up in a year. 23% last year.
That's a massive jump, isn't it?
Yes. Largest increase by a starter in Major League Baseball. So he's feeling it. He's over here in Houston. He's got a new philosophy, and it's played up. He's just dropping a drive, and that's 98. And again, he's got great finish on. I'm trying to think, we had a guy here, Matt Anderson. You remember Matt Anderson?
I do, yeah.
Threw the ball 103 miles an hour, and it seemed like they saw him really good. And just an example, he threw hard, but for some reason, they centered it. Garrett Cole's the opposite.
Popped up, foul territory. Maldonado reaches, and the Astros make quick work here in the 5th of the Tigers.
Tigers had a little bit of a scare early. Nico and Stewie collide in the collision, but Nico came out of the game. It appears he's correct. And then Victor Reyes. What about that for a catch? Great timing, great effort. Keeps the Tigers close. James McCann then goes yard. Oppo feels good about that. 97-mile-an-hour fastball to right field. And Alex Bregman, he has 3 RBI today. Continues his push for recognition. He's having a great year, and the Tigers now trail 5-2 as we go to the top of the 6th.
Martin Maldonado, Jake Marisnick, and George Springer. to face Sandy Baez, who came in to get that final out in the 5th. Tries to lay down a bunt. Instead, it's tapped right to the mound.
You got something on? There's all these bees are in here.
No, I think it's just because you're so sweet.
No, it's you. It's not me. They're over by you.
No, I get flies. You get bees.
No honey in these bees.
No. We've gotten rid of a few already, but they keep coming back. There's Marisnik. Singled and scored in the 5th. On a 1 for 2 days so far. Bender in tight, 2-0.
Looked like a slider right there from Baez. You can see not real sharp. Something that you got to work on. You want to get that spin rate up. You may have read about it. He's got the good fastball. 94 right there.
Why is spin rate important, Jimmy?
Well, if you're trying to throw a breaking ball, the more spin you have, the more break you're going to have, I guess would be the easiest way in the philosophy. Vinny, if you can get your ball spinning faster, it's going to break sharper and quicker. And frankly,
deep in the hole, Rodriguez, and he threw it away. Marisnik's going to try for second. Aducey's throw is high and not in time. They'll mark that a single and an E6 on the throw that allows Marisnik to take second.
Yeah, Ronnie, I thought he had a little bit of time, but it was definitely going away. Tried to do or die play. But Marisnik very aggressive right here. If this throw is a little lower by Ducey, they had him at second.
Astros still have yet to make a ground ball out today. It's either a fly out, pop out, or strikeout.
Doesn't happen very often.
Springer's 2 for 3. A couple of singles and a run scored. 89th run scored on the year for the World Series MVP of a year ago, and a guy who ranks 10th in that category in the American League.
Now it's time for the Bernstein advantage. Tigers bullpen last 7 games, 23 1/3 innings, very good. ERA sub-1. 5 walks, 18 Ks. Opponents only hitting 150. Sandy Baez trying to stay on the roll.
5 relievers combined for 4 scoreless innings in relief last night. Buck Farmer, Lewis Coleman, Daniel Stump, Victor Alcantara, and Alex Wilson were dynamite in relief of Jordan Zimmerman.
And the Tigers have their pen is obviously got extra arms in there now. So how do you pick who throws when? Last night was an example. I know they have charts that show good matchups, bad matchups, who's hot, who's not. You filter things over a year, over 2 weeks. You know, how do you decide what numbers you're going to use? And they actually went against some numbers. They brought in Buck Farmer, and he threw a great game. So again, I said something earlier about how they're going to play their guys regardless of some of the trends that it appears might not be the best time to bring somebody in. They want to see them in those situations.
It's a good question. I think a lot of managers would wrestle with. Do you look at the history of a player, or do you look at his recent trend of a player?
It depends. Again, the Tigers are trying to determine some answers for the future. I think A.J. Hinch's decisions would be a little differently, but sometimes it's both. You know, you look at the numbers, you filter them, and sometimes things take care of themselves. Kind of an old saying.
This is fouled away.
But that's where gut feeling comes into it too, Shep. You don't hear a lot about gut feeling anymore. You used to, right? Managers used to be questioned, and they are questioned now with numbers, okay?
Sure.
You should have done this, you should have done that. This says you should have did this. And they used to just say, well, I had a gut feeling. It's not really an acceptable answer anymore. You got to have backing.
But it should be. That's what they get paid to do.
Yeah.
That's where their experience lies.
Well, it's good if it works. But they know they have cards.
Tapper to second. The first ground ball out of the day for Houston.
That's good, but they have cards with all this information on it. And it's I've looked at them. Wow, it's like, what one do you really use? Like, is it 2 weeks? Is it over a month? And let's say your guy's been raking over, hasn't been raking over the last 2 weeks, but the other guy has, or if they're both hot, so to say the Tiger hitter's hot and the Houston pitcher's hot, what does that mean? I mean, they're both hot.
Yeah.
You're going to go with your guy.
Something's got to give.
Sometimes you get too wound up in your opponent's strength. You got to remember what you do good.
This guy does just about everything well. He's been a pain in the Tigers' side today. Had not been good in the series. Had been 0 for 7 in the series. And actually 0 for 8 before back-to-back singles, an RBI single in the third. And then
he got 3 RBI.
A 2-run double in the fifth. Stays 0-2.
98 miles an hour there. Let it go. So he's been anywhere 90, 94, 98. Again, if you're a hitter, you just hope that you can get a piece of that and live for another day with not such a good pitch. Bregman 2 for 3 today.
Houston has dominated the Central. They are 24-7 against the Tigers division.
And you start looking at the playoffs. I was looking at some of this. If you're Boston or New York, and you maybe get Oakland, right? Who wants to go out there?
Not a great matchup there.
I think that New York has not played well against Oakland. But if you're the Yankees, the Astros are money on the road. If you're the Yankees, you play good at home, that's for sure. Yankee Stadium is a huge advantage for their team.
It wouldn't be a disadvantage for Oakland all that much. Bregman taps one to third. Candelario across the diamond. And the Tigers escape any more damage. 5-2. Coming up next, we reveal the next subject in our Prospect Spotlight series as we look at a young shortstop in the Tigers system. That's next. Stay with us. 18-year-old who signed as a 16-year-old, has ascended quickly in the Tigers organization and had a solid season in the minors this year.
You can see promoted twice in 2 months span, the Gulf Coast League to Connecticut to West Michigan. And in West Michigan, they were in the playoffs, so it's quite a climb right there. You can see nice, quick, compact swing right there. Got a lot of shortstops, and you can see he's using his smarts as well. Bunt, he can run. But this is a guy I have not seen yet, just arrived, and he's been in the Gulf Coast League, so he's been in Florida, Shep, from spring training on probably. He's watching some games, I'm sure. Some of the dorms when they're down there in at the complex in Lakeland always have the Tiger games on, and they can watch a lot of film. And
well,
where did it say he was from?
Dominican. You had mentioned that he a lot of shortstops in the system, a lot of middle infielders in general.
Well, they've got a lot of
Paredes, Lugo.
Paredes looks good. I've seen him. Lugo's here. Alcantara down there. He's a kid I actually saw down the Dominican when he was 16 years old.
Willie Castro came over in the Leonis Martin deal with Cleveland.
Looks good. Like the way he plays. Got a good attitude. Good teammate. Could see that quickly.
Jim Adducci strikes out
Boy,
for the second time today.
Mowing him down, isn't he?
Time for the DT Energy Know Your Own Power in the 4th inning. James McCann, opposite field home run, his 8th of the year, but second opposite field home run of the season. At the time, that put the Tigers up 2-1.
Outside with 97-mile-an-hour fastball. McCann stayed on it. Might see something with a little wrinkle in it this at bat, wouldn't you think?
I would guess, although first time he's met Josh James, who's in for Garrett Cole. James, a heavy throwing right-hander. 97 on that fastball.
Everybody throws 97 over there, don't they?
You're right. All side windows, pitching change, 24th appearance for James. Look at the strikeout to walk ratio, and teams aren't hitting him very well either.
It's interesting, though. They took Cole out. They're probably looking ahead a little bit right here. Did have 99 pitches in 5 innings.
Correa with some time. 2 quick outs here in the 6th. Trevor Thompson.
I guess we're talking prospects, and the Tigers called up a couple of arms in that category recently. Matt Hall and Spencer Turnbull got the call up from Toledo, and Hall is reported to have the best curveball in the Tigers system. Meanwhile, Turnbull, he's got a heavy fastball, and he can't wait to display that when he gets a shot in the rotation. Both of these guys said before the game, this has been a dream come true for each of them, and it's exceeded their wildest expectations, finally getting to the majors, walking inside that Tigers clubhouse, having their names on big league jerseys and having an opportunity to close out this season as big leaguers. They're just waiting for their opportunity right now. And Gibby, I'm just wondering what you can add to what you know about both of those guys and what they might bring to the table when they get their opportunity.
Yeah, the lefty, he does have a very good curveball. Matt Hall, he's had really some good seasons on the way up as a starter. His curveball is his best pitch. Turnbull, he's got 4 really good pitches. I think Hall looks like a reliever. Turnbull, I think, has the stuff to be a starter. He's got nice fastball, good curveball. That's a good snapdragon. That's major league. That's a 12-6. Not Bert Bly 11, but it may be someday. But it's just looking for the consistency, and maybe he hasn't developed quite as quickly as they expect him to. But I don't think he's had any arm problems. And the Tigers, obviously, you want starters. You want starters. Can never have enough of them.
Hall was named the 2018 Tigers minor league player and pitcher, or pitcher of the year. Kristen Stewart was the player of the year for a 3rd straight year.
I think a couple years ago, Hall had a really good start down in Lakeland. So he's, does he throw hard?
No, he doesn't dominate you that way.
No, but he's got the stuff. He's learned how to spin the ball. Like I said, that he has one of the better curveballs in the organization, and he's left-handed. And I talked many times about having a left-hander that can get lefties out consistently, and not just one of them. You got to have more than one. You got to have depth. You know, you want to add to your team. You want to fill the roles, but you have to have backup behind it.
2 strikeouts in the inning. We've played 6. Tigers trail by 3.
That you stood by me at a time where a lot of people questioned the validity of me being a manager, or why I was in that chair. How would I get that opportunity when there's, you know, a AA manager that's been doing it for 20 years, or there's a AAA manager that's been fighting his way through the minor leagues, and here I come in and get put there. And I wanted you to know that it was okay. It was okay that I got let go. I understood, you know, why it failed, why it didn't work out, that you had the opportunity to take over, which should be an exciting time for the guy taking over, especially for the first time in the big leagues.
So the question was, when he got let go, he left me a letter, and that's what he was explaining, that it was okay, because it's a weird feeling.
Down the left field line, Stewart giving chase and making the grab.
It's a weird feeling. You're on the bench, you're the guy's bench coach, and you get a call on an off day, and they want to know if you would be willing to take the team over. And you have an alliance, yet you have an opportunity, and he handled it with class. But he learned a lot from that, and obviously I told him I was very proud of him that he won a world championship. It's come a long way. It's a whirlwind ride. As a player, as a coach, as a manager, as a front office personnel, as a fan, if you're going to be a champion. So just embrace the chaos.
But also a man who is deserving of a second chance. We've seen managers struggle out of the gate, get a second chance, go on to win a World Series. This isn't all of them. But Joe Torre struggled early as a manager, and then look what happened. Same thing happened with Terry Francona. He wasn't the same Terry Francona he is now, or Bruce Bochy, or Jim Leyland, or even Casey Stengel. But they all won World Series after being let go.
Well, you got to pick yourself up, whether it's as a manager or sometimes in life, right? You got people watching today. Some aren't feeling good about things. You have to have a good support staff. You have to have people that you can go to. You have to have people that are honest with you.
It's not just baseball either. That happens in all sports. right? Chuck Daly was not a great coach in Philadelphia, but he sure was here in Detroit.
Why do you think that was, though?
Well,
Just better talent?
It helps to have players, but I think you learn. Look, you learned too. You took over for A.J. Hinch. Your team closed 34-49. The next year, you won 94 games and won the division. How were you different when you took over for him to the chance you got your first full season as the skipper?
Well, I was an interim guy, number one, so you're on hold on the fort. Then we had a chance to prepare, and you know, I learned a lot by what happened with AJ and many others. The people that have mentored you your whole life, you start retrieving those people that you look up to that you didn't know well. John Wooden, some of his sayings, just be the best you can be. You know, like, think about that. That's all you can really ask for anybody. Have you ever booed anybody at a ballpark?
I have not. I've never been a fan of that. To each his own. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying
have you been
my
booed?
way is always right. But oh yeah, absolutely. I've absolutely been booed. High pop up on the infield. Lugo or Rodriguez. It'll be the shortstop. And a nice firm 7th for Sandy Baez. Coming up, the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch.
Miller Lite hold true moment, 4th inning. Victor Reyes went almost 100 feet. Lays out. Perfect route, makes the catch. Keeps the Tigers close at the time. Tigers trail 5-2 right now. Daniel Norris liked it as well. Tell you, the Tigers have really displayed a lot of defense. This team has changed quite a bit.
I agree with you.
It used to be mashers. It's not made up that way right now. They're totally they run the bases better. You've seen a huge improvement from that. They're turning over their pitching staff. The pitching has not been that bad. See a lot of good positive signs there. And the defense for sure has been way better. But what is the correct mix for the future?
Well, that's what you have to figure out. Look, let's quote Chris Ilitch from yesterday. All right, the Tigers controlling owner. What did he say? I hear it from folks all around town. This is a fun team to watch. You've got to watch right until the end, and these guys will do it because you never know what they're going to pull out. He feels like this team has made tremendous progress despite the record. So he feels it, he sees it, and he said he's having a blast in his role too, by the way.
He's got a big plate. I know that. I admire him for what he handles. It's classy.
But I like that this team wins in different ways under Ron Gardenhire. They don't rely on, and I don't want to use the Earl Weaver 3-run home run stuff, but they do win differently than they have in the past.
Well, if you look at it, if you're not going to hit home runs, how else can you win? You can do it with defense. You can do it with base running. You can do it with moving the guys over and getting them in. Now, frankly, I think the hitting part of it, I'm not going to say that I know why, but I think they need the most improvement in that field. You do have young guys. And this guy right here is really improved. Here against another wall, he makes things happen. He pressures the opponent. I'd love to pressure your opponent and see how good they are. If they make the play, you tip your cap at them. So it's in the process. I think everybody can see so far this year, though, where we're headed with it, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're hopeful anyway. Here's the big question, though, Gibby. Guys make progress throughout one season. Can they take and elevate their game to the next level the following season? It's tough to get better.
It's not guaranteed. I know that.
Astros implement the shift with Jeimer Candelario. A couple of strikeouts, but he walked and scored too.
Look at this shift here. Watch Bregman. Is that Bregman over there shortstop? He's right in there tight.
Candelario can go the other way.
Look, he's going way up the middle.
Wow. It's exaggerated. Hits into it on a pop-up. One down. We were mentioning Christopher Ilitch, how much he enjoys watching this team, as well as the fans. Here's what he had to say about this year's Tigers.
Some of my best childhood memories were with my father going to Tigers games. So for me, I'm having a blast. I think it'll be even more fun as our record on the field gets better, and that will occur as we continue to see the progress that we're seeing through our player development and minor league system. So, but for now, I'm having a lot of fun.
So you'll see as it evolves, you'll fill in some of the blanks, so to say, right? Then you're going to have a couple, just like his dad, Mike Ilitch, did. He'll go out and cherry pick when it's time. That's the fun part. That puts you over the top.
Also really appreciates the job that General Manager Al Avila is doing too. Because it's not easy.
No, it isn't. They've come light years in their analyzation process. Their sabermetrics, gotten an opportunity to look at some of that. They've come, that's not easy. You don't just plug that in a day. Okay,
right.
You have to assemble a staff, and he's got good people there.
Yeah, it's not a computer program. You're right. Stewart pops it up left side. Bregman with a long run, but he's fast enough. 2 down.
So if you look at the last teams that they won, 84. They went and got Darrell Evans. That was the final piece for us. He brought us all together, and we built up. You had Brookie, and you had Tram, and you had Lou, and you had Jack, and you had Peaches, and you had Lance Parrish.
Made some moves with Herndon and Lemon, right?
Right.
Okay.
And so look at Pudge Rodriguez was the first guy. The last run they had, they didn't win the World Series, right?
Yeah.
He started adding pieces there the same way.
Ordonez is part of that. Yeah.
Ordonez was part of that as well. Kenny Rogers, they went and got Kenny Rogers. You start really getting focused on what you want to do with cherry picking some pieces. But that's years away. But it doesn't mean it can't be exciting, and it can happen quicker than you think it is.
Yeah, not every player has to be homegrown, do they? I mean, with your team in '84, sure, we embraced you and Parrish and Trammell and Whitaker and Morris and Petrie and Rosema because you grew up together through the system, but there were key guys added. Willie Hernandez in different ways. This one's pounded way back to left, and Castellanos brings the Tigers to within 1.
Here's a piece. .104.6 off the bat. Little wrinkle right there. Nick's right on it. He knew it right away. You don't see him put his head down that often. Cranked that. That's a good feeling when you're around the bases like that. You might imagine.
21 homers, 80 runs, 81 runs driven in now for Nick Castellanos, who should have been an all-star this year. .54, which was the final last night.
Got a feeling there's some magic going to happen today.
And we hope you're right. Tigers have played 45 one-run games, Gibby, third most in the league. Seattle has played 54 after playing one last night.
There's good news and bad news in that, right?
Good news is you're hanging right there. The bad news is you don't have what it takes to come over the, get over the hump.
Yet,
right. And actually 20 and 25 is it's not an awful record. I mean, Houston's played 44 one-run games. They're 20 and 24. Not that far off.
Oh, did you see him walking off? Jerry Davis is not going to like that. The umpire. Pitch wasn't even close. He's not going to get this one if it's close. Jerry did miss it.
Didn't need the umpire on that swing, but Nicholas Castellanos drives one back and left to celebrate his 21st homer of the year and get his team to within one. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. America Park, we begin the 8th. Detroit down 5-4. The first game in this series was a one-run difference, 3-2. Last night it was 5-4, both in favor of Houston. Detroit's making a game of it again.
Well, true to their form, we've been talking about all year. I think Gardy's happy with the way they're competing, and now he's almost taking it to the next level. His expectations are raising. Daniel Norris, 4 2/3 innings. Sandy Baez comes in for 2 1/3 scoreless. That's really good stuff. We've been talking about the bullpen. A lot of guys are getting an opportunity down here. We got another youngster on the mound today to start his mission to try and be a part of the success story here as we move forward.
All right, I asked you yesterday, what's the difference in winning these tight games? What would be the difference in the final 2 frames here today?
Well, we're going to wait and see. I really don't have a good feel. I mean, we got to hold them off the board, and hopefully we can get some consistency throughout our lineup. We talked about A.J. Hinch in game 1. He looks for 4 good things going, right, in your lineup. 4 good things: a line out, a walk, just 4 good at bats. So the Tigers can do that. They have not been done that well with consistency. If they can do that, they got a chance to win today.
Marwin Gonzalez batting left-handed against Zach Reininger, makes his 12th appearance.
Zach, he's probably a little excited right now, wouldn't you think?
Gonzalez 4 for 8 in this series. Heavy shift against Gonzalez. 1 and 2 to him.
See, Reiniger's got a pretty good snapdragon there. Good raking ball. Got to keep it down. Don't want to hang it. He's got a pretty good hump in it, though. A good downward action. Takes a lot of the velocity off it when he throws it.
Just foul. Craig Monroe's getting ready for Tigers live post game. No better way to do it than talking to some of the folks, right? And signing some jerseys.
Simo.
What's he going to put on there?
Simo. Thinks Simo's handed some jerseys out today. Brought a couple with him. That's nice of him.
How long did you practice your signature?
Practice it?
Yeah. Don't tell me you didn't practice it.
I never really practiced it. I've been accused of not having real neat penmanship. You know, you do what you can do. Like, I can't sign on the back like that. You notice how they signed on the back?
Yeah.
I like to pull it off and stretch it really tight so I don't fumble around.
It's a perfect place for it, too, right there. That's a nice signature.
That's a good spot.
Yeah.
I signed a jersey last night right there. Back in the booth here.
Yeah, a lot of folks came up to say hi to you last night.
Well, they were here for you as well.
No. I was long gone.
Simo, this happens every time. Pick the stick. Ram picked the stick. 6 points. Oh, boy, what's going on with me? How can I have a negative when I'm in the shower?
Well, the strikeout and then the injury, and that kind of did you in.
I got for the injury, or did I get the Ronnie Rodriguez one too?
No, you just got the good one. You should be glad, actually, considering Ronnie Rodriguez would have added to your negativity with 2 more because of a couple strikeouts that he's had. And
Why
the
are you
air.
smiling?
And the air.
Yeah.
Simo wasn't feeling great about Castellanos until he went yard.
Yeah, he was.
2-run shot.
We talked on Simo before. He always comes at you. You're never going to stay in the corner.
Fly ball deep left. Stewart giving chase, and it's going to be foul, luckily. Evan Gattis has got that kind of power, though. 25 homers for the Astros designated hitter.
Tigers have been pounding him inside the whole series, and he's starting to cheat a little bit. I wonder what the temperature of the inside of that beard is. I wonder if it took a meat thermometer and put it in there, would it measure? Right in the middle of that beard.
Cook some ham in the middle of that. 1 and 2 to get.
Are you a good griller?
My kids would say no.
Do you use a meat thermometer?
I don't.
Well, then maybe you should. They think you're better. That's thick.
I'd like to know how long it took him to grow that.
Couple months.
Second in the clubs in homers and RBIs. Shattered bat, needs a new one.
Remember, we were in Arizona, and Kevin Towers was our general manager at the time. He was out looking at players, and he saw Gattis in the minor leagues. Loved him. He wanted to get him. Loved him, and now here we've watched him. He's had a pretty good career. He was kind of off the radar, you know. Everybody, he didn't grade out great in many categories, but he just loved the way he looked, loved the way he played. No gloves.
Looks like he should be wearing a flannel shirt, though, doesn't it? Instead of a jersey.
Well, that's what he liked about it. You know.
Yeah.
KT used to look at people, players like that. He loved them. Remember Josh Coleman?
I don't.
He was from right here in southern Michigan. I'm drawing a blank. Through 87 miles an hour.
Okay.
Getting everybody out. Nobody was on him. KT was, because that's the eye test. He says, all I know is I'm looking at the swings. All he knew about Gaddis was he saw him hitting him out of the ballpark. So the numbers tell you some of the story, but not all of it.
Second time he's grabbed some bench though tonight, and here's Martin Maldonado.
Homer, Michigan.
Homer, Michigan.
Homer.
Really good baseball program.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think he won a state championship down there.
Wouldn't surprise me.
He had a pretty good career as well.
Drifting foul, and Matuk slides but can't make the grab. Good effort.
So this is like the third one of these we've had in the game today. You've got guys approaching all out, but they also have to be careful because they don't want to have a collision. Mikey was mad he wanted to get it.
Tried to sell it too.
It's intense.
Like that about him, don't you?
I love it.
Instead, a long strike to the Astros catcher. It was 1 for 3 and a run scored. Jammed him. Tough play for Candelario.
Good.
But he made it anyway. Nice clean inning for Zach Reininger in the 8th. Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. By your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. 5-4 as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning on a gorgeous Wednesday afternoon here in Detroit. Mikey Matuk, Jim Adduci, and James McCann due up for the Tigers here in the 8th frame. Josh James remains on the hill for Houston. Bregman, long throw. Didn't get him.
Mikey got out of that box quickly. Bregman, boy, made a good play on this, didn't he? Bounced it over there. Look at Mikey. Gets out of that box good. Pumping those irons. They're gonna check it. Greeny's warming up in the bullpen just in case they need him.
Ooh, this might get reversed here, Gibby. This is LSU Tiger on LSU Tiger, you know.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. Bregman and Mikey Montic. Here's another look at it.
Whoops. Can't get a break.
No, but it's the right call.
It is.
Brings up Jim Adducey. That's about as deep a throw as you're going to have. I mean, Bregman, who was just on the edge behind the third base bag with dirt and grass.
See how he set it up though for the throw. I mean, even the good play that he made, set it up, got that closed, and bounced it over there.
Got his whole body behind it, planting that right leg and driving through on the throw.
Got that front side closed.
Tapper up the box and through for a base hit for Jim Adducey. Fan Appreciation Weekend returns to Comerica Park when the Tigers host the Royals September 21st through the 23rd. Select fans will win special prizes throughout the weekend, including game-worn jerseys from Tigers players on Sunday. For tickets and more information, visit tigers.com. Very cool tradition.
Just looking at Joshua James here, this is a guy who really came out of nowhere. Relatively unknown prospect, but between AA and AAA, he's turned into a monster. He's throwing the ball very good today. You see the high velocity, upper 90s. He's throwing so good, we'd like to give him a loss.
Made his major league debut September 1st against the Angels. And just in case the Astros get things rolling in that bullpen, Ryan Presley, and he's thrown a lot for them since coming over. James McCann, who hit a solo homer in the fourth to give Detroit at the time a 2-1 lead.
Say have a day. So over the last year, James's fastballs went from 91 to 93 to 95 to 97 with higher peaks.
How does that happen?
Just they develop. People mature at different times. They find their mechanics. Slider used to be flat. Now it's sharpened up, at least average. Changeup is improving. Here's what they're saying is mechanical refinements. And he used to have a sleep disorder, and they fixed that. And his arm's feeling fresh.
A sleep disorder, huh?
Yeah. He was diagnosed with a sleep disorder, and he's got better stamina.
I was going to ask you, how does that affect a pitcher?
Well, again, you're not getting sleep. It's not a good thing.
1-2 to James McCann.
Adducey, I don't know if he's a threat to run right now, especially with Maldonado behind the dish.
Does have one stolen base on the year.
But usually young pitchers are, you want to put pressure on them. That may not be a good route to go. Get the clock on him.
Maldonado has thrown out 4 of the 7 runners attempting to steal since he's come over to Houston.
Yeah, he gets up quickly and gets rid of the ball. It's a true four-seamer right over the top. When he's done playing baseball, he'll be a good BP pitcher. A lot of catchers are.
McCann Did a good job of making him work. Gibby's got his stopwatch.
I do.
So you're timing at times Josh James, right? To home and sometimes when he throws to first.
Well, I don't get the throw to first. I'm not worried about that, but I'm just, from the time the pitcher moves to the time it hits the catcher's glove is what I'm timing. Like I said, right here with a deucey, he's probably going to need it. The total time. So I got a 136 on the last delivery. So if you figure a deucey needs 3.3 seconds. So if you take 3.3 minus 1.36, that gives you, well, 1.94. So if Maldonado throws a 194, he's probably going to get him.
As long as it's accurate.
And he can do it. 194 would be a slow time for him. I'd say average is 2 in the major leagues, around two seconds. Catcher.
What would you want what did you teach your pitchers? What did you stress to them how quickly they need to get it to home plate?
Well, they just need to hold the ball. That's the biggest thing.
Got him swinging.
139. There you go. 43.8%. Second in Major League. Salvador Perez is the only guy that's better.
Gibby's not the only one with a stopwatch.
Well, all the coaches do. Santiago's got one out there, Ramon the Bone.
Dual Lugo walked, but is 0 for 2. 2 for 17 on the homestand. He's getting a chance to kind of fight through some difficult times as of late. Staying in the lineup, trying to hit his way out of it. 1-1.
Getting slower and slower. If you can pick an off-speed pitch, that was like 145. Now that's, if you could catch him on one like that. And the other thing is you try and time him. I've spoke about this before. So when he comes set, the head goes down 1001, 1002.
There he goes. To right.
Get by him.
Needs to get down. No, what a great play by George Springer. Laying out to rob Lugo of an extra base hit and what would have been, no doubt, the game-tying run.
Gosh, what a catch.
It's deja vu all over again. Really? The Tigers trailing by a run going into the ninth. Have we seen this before?
We
this
have
series?
seen this before, Mick, but how about the play George Springer just made against Dal Lugo? Stop it already. That was the big knock that the Tigers needed to tie this ball game up. But wait, there's still time left. Bottom of the ninth inning.
That's right.
We still got a chance, so hopefully somebody else come up with a big knock.
Well, they're due. Something's
Yes,
got to change, and we believe it's going to happen right now. And Trevor Thompson will bring us the walk-off interview immediately following the game on Tigers Live. How you like that, Chef Gibby?
I love the confidence.
There you go.
Fantastic confidence. Good stuff. Shane Green, part of the Wallside Windows pitching change.
Well, Greeny needs a good outing today. Had a poor outing in his last appearance, and he really took it hard. But he's got great numbers. He's got great stuff. Get back on the horse today, hold the Astro team scoreless, give his team a chance to get him a win.
And he's got the 9, 1, and 2 hitters due up. Jake Marisnik.
Yeah, Greeny's last 5 outings, not characteristic of him. Really struggled. Reiniger, on the other hand, preceding him, threw really good through an inning, struck out a couple.
1 and 2. Marisnik singled in each of his last 2 at-bats. Counts even.
Just off the corner. Risnick's been scrappy down there today, huh?
Yeah. Good at bats for the bottom of your order.
Yeah, you want to always try and set the table. Oh, that's a good pitch.
Might have been a strike last night, huh?
Definitely. 3 and 2.
Walked it. Tough way to start the ninth.
Well, looks like it's not going to be easy. Like I said, I saw Greeny in the clubhouse after his last game. He just looked like he really took it hard, and sometimes you overthink things and try to look for that feel. Got to force yourself through it. Look for the double play ball right here.
Well, we see it all the time in baseball. A guy makes a great play on the defensive side, and then he's back up in the box soon thereafter. At least one fan in the stands today. Marisnik has 5 stolen bags on the year in 6 attempts. There he goes. McCann with a rifle down there to get him.
Well, James, good job by Greeny to not let him get a great jump, and McCann puts it right on there. Nice. Ooh, that was close.
But he got him. What a throw and what a tag.
See, he's got in the head first. He goes right through his legs, but if you go that deep like that, you're gonna have a better chance to get the out tag. If you're in front of the base, you probably don't get him. That's why, as a runner, I like slide feet first. Go right into that situation.
25th runner James McCann has nailed this year.
Throws well.
Nice play by Candelario. By the way, that's tied with Jonathan Lucroy for most in the majors. Here's the upcoming pitching matchup presented by Wallside Windows. Good matchup.
We're
all
going
weekend long.
Yeah, going to Cleveland there doesn't get any easier, does it? Josh Tomlin 1-5, so I guess he'd be the best guy that you could pick up. Clevenger and then Bieber. We're going with Boyd, Fulmer, and Liriano.
Yeah, Boyd's been really good. Was excellent against St. Louis despite a no decision. 1-3 in his career against Cleveland. So He'll be pitching Friday night right here on Fox Sports Detroit.
Seems to be hitting a different gear, though, doesn't he? Matt Boyd?
Yeah.
Really throwing the ball consistently.
Yeah, seems to be getting stronger. Speaking of strength, Alex Bregman earlier today became the first third baseman ever with 30 homers and 50 doubles in the same season.
In the history.
In the history of the game.
That's strong.
That's incredible. Pokes it to left and foul. He's also driven on over 100 RBIs, most by an Astro since 2003, and his 50 doubles are most since 2001. Plus, this kid plays every day. He's only 24. This is his 143rd game today.
It's not even a full season.
No, but he doesn't come out very often.
Well, when you're young like that, you don't want to.
Well, A.J. Hinch has hinted at giving him a rest in the next series against Arizona. But tomorrow an off day for the Astros, like the Tigers.
Well, look at the Red Sox. They won it. They're 9 games up. Okay, yeah. They're going to be the #1 seed, right?
You would think.
Who do you play? Who do you not play?
Did he go? No. I don't know. I mean, that's a.
Do you rest your guys?
Well, that's a fine line. If you rest them, you like to have them in a groove, right? Headed to the postseason. On the other hand, you also want them to stay healthy. So.
Remember the '89 World Series was the Earthquake Series.
A's and Reds.
Tony La Russa took his club down there and made him compete every day.
You think that benefited them? No.
Oh yeah, well that was his philosophy. He wanted them to all-out scrimmage every day. He didn't want them to lose the edge.
Got you.
Because they lost to the Dodgers in '88, and they came back against the Giants. They had their earthquake.
Oh, that was against the Giants, not the Reds. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, do you give your players a rest, but you got to keep them intense, right?
Sure. No problem for Lugo. We'll head to the 9th. Tigers need at least a run to force extras.
See how these two gentlemen are trying to be set up away, and James McCann cheats on it, stays on it. Oppo power. That's a good positive for the Tigers. Then Nicholas Castellanos, look, it goes with the slider, then hangs the next slider. Nick gets it all. That brings the Tigers within 1. Nick's got that sweet swing he can just hit. I think I said that the other day. Tigers trail right now and looking for one more home run with somebody on base and go with the walk-off win.
And the rally hats are out. Big issue for the Tigers today, 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Here's Ryan Presley on for the Astros. has not notched a save all season.
He's trying to do it today. Lots of curveballs, fastball, curveball, slider. Got some good velo as well, 96 plus.
Marwin Gonzalez moves from left to second. Josh Reddick, a defensive replacement, in left. Reyes walked and scored in the 7th, but is 0 for 2.
Wanted that pitch. We didn't get it. Green didn't get it. He's not getting it. Two-0 count. Keyhole him. Oh
wow, that was generous.
Yeah, that wasn't fair there. You're hoping it's 3-0 right there.
Two and two.
See how much influence that has on a bat right there. That call.
That's a big call. Changes the entire at bat, don't you think?
Oh, definitely. Now would have been 3-0. He's 2-1. Gets aggressive. 3-0 you're probably taking. You have to overcome it though. Find a way on. Good breaking ball right there. It's tough. Reyes has been susceptible to that pitch. They go fastball down and in. Then they throw the slider, the breaking ball, down and in. You swing right over top of it. That's a tough pitch to get.
Presley, a career-long 14-game scoreless streak right now over the last 12 1/3 innings he's pitched. To first. There's the 1-800-CALL-SAM call of the game. Seen some defensive gems today given.
That was the beauty right there. Nobody thought he was going to catch it. We had a good view from here. Closed big late, and then this is last inning. George Springer, Tigers look to be tying the game up. Springer with an awesome play against the Tigers. Got to give them credit. They've made the plays when they've needed it so far.
Kristen Stewart's made a nice play too today.
He has.
Robbing a home run.
Looks good out there. He's had a pretty good series against the world champs.
Jamer Candelario, 18 homers on the year. 0 for 3 tonight, but did walk and score back in the 3rd.
A lot of breaking balls. You can see, again, Houston, this is their belief. They like pitchers who have a good spin on the ball. You can get that breaking ball. That's what they do, especially when they get in trouble. Get guys on base. That's a good up to down breaking pitch. Breaks sharp and late.
Fastball outside and high.
I mean, 97. Then he throws that snapdragon. You got to be on time, don't you? It's impressive. They put together a really good staff. You know, you look at it, you scout them before they come, and they played well. But even a better idea to take this last game from them.
Worked at 2 and 2. Joe Jimenez warming up in case he's needed for extras.
Kristen Stewart on deck. He's just looking for that first walk-off, isn't he? Need to get Candy on here. Good spoil there.
Flew out to right last time up.
Just look at this pitch. You know, he's thrown 97. Look how late it breaks. got angle to it as well as depth. You get a piece of it. That's what you're looking for, Shep. That's how they're going to get better. Hopefully, he'll get a mistake here and get on. Spoils another.
Spoiler, yeah. That's where he's grown a little bit throughout the year, don't you think?
I think so. He's really. But we talked about the walks. The first step, really, for all these guys to think about months ago was talking about guys shortening up.
Yeah.
This is what's going on. Your mentality is the first thing that has to change.
Got him that time.
Just kept
third strikeout of the day for Jamer Candelario, and that's going to leave it up to the rookie Kristen Stewart.
Just kept feeding it to him, didn't he? It's a good pitch. Little different type pitch. Didn't recognize it. Come on, Stewie.
Doubled in the first, struck out in the third, walked in the fifth, and popped out in the seventh. Would love to find the seats here.
I think they went away from him there. Same pitch, different side of the plate. This homestand, we've talked about many pitchers that they have to learn to throw those pitches to both side, arm side and glove side. Here you're seeing Presley doing exactly that, and he's showing you why you have to do that.
Drilled to right, but no problem for Springer, and the Astros celebrate their first sweep of the Tigers since 1999 when they did it at the Astrodome. We'll send it now to the Call Sam studios. Mickey York and Craig Monroe standing by for Tigers live postgame, guys.
All right, Shep, thank you very much. 1 run again. The Tigers will discuss why they kept coming up just short against the Astros in this series. 3 games into his career, we'll explain why Kristen Stewart looks like he belongs. We'll show you why timing was everything on Nick Castellanos' 21st home run of the season. We'll get an update on Nico Goodrum's injury status. Ron Gardenhire's postgame press conference on the way as well. Next on a postgame edition of Tigers Live.